that.
Right, yeah. You know, some friends of mine in Florida talked me into this crazy idea, but really it isn't crazy. It's to raise money for Alzheimer's. We just did a big benefit in Florida, Melbourne area, and raised $250,000, and hopefully we can maybe win this $1 million race and take another $250,000 back to Melbourne for Alzheimer's. Yeah, it's a terrible disease. I don't know if it's affected anyone in your family, but it has in mine and most people I've talked to, so we like to help.
Yeah, I appreciate that. My grandmother died of Alzheimer's, so thank you for doing that. So good to see Jeff Bodine back at the racetrack. We'll see if he can get this car in the show today in qualifying.
No problem.
Hermie Sadler, another guy trying to get his car in the show today is this guy, Ted Musgrave, subbing for Robbie Gordon, who is racing the Baja right now. And I want to ask you, because it's been about, since 2003 since you've been in a Cup car. How much has changed since then, Ted?
A lot. The Pocono Raceway's changed a lot, where the groove is in 3 and 4 real high. It's really bumpy on the bottom. You can't run there. But the biggest thing, I've never driven a COT car. Sure, I've run a lot of Cup races here, but that was with the old style car. And so everything's different. I mean, you're on bump stops. You got all kinds of weird stuff going on. And we've been struggling a little bit today. We've had a lot of problems. But if we can get in the show for Robbie, he'll come back from the Baja around 4 or 5 in the morning on Sunday and run it on Sunday. If not, I'll do my best.
What have you been struggling with, Ted?
Well, the splitter's been hitting the ground really, really hard, pretty much all day long. We've been raising the front end up, but then it gets too high, and coming off the corner, I get a really terrible push. So we've had to really change to what it is. The durometer of the Packers had to be harder. It's just a bunch of stuff. The COT cars are very, very technical, and we just need to get a handle on that.
All right, Ted Musgrave in the 7, at least for qualifying here today. He'll try to put her in the show for Robbie Gordon. Hermie?
Thanks, Bob. Greg Zippadelli standing by, getting ready for qualifying. And early today on Speed, we saw Denny Hamlin over spending some time with you guys, talking to Joey about this racetrack. One of the racetracks we only come, he's only been here a couple times. What was he talking to with Denny in that meeting there?
We just searching a little bit between our car and Joey, trying to figure out the line that he wants to run. Denny has had a lot of success here. He runs well. They got together before practice, and then he gave him some ideas and some areas where he was racing. We were able to go out and follow him, and then they got talking about what Joey thought was the difference between the group he was running and what Denny was. So obviously you always appreciate when your teammates help you out. Denny was really fast, and we're struggling a little bit. So hopefully we can learn something. Hopefully the weather will hold out and we get more practice tomorrow. That's what we need.
We'll talk about qualifying here, because we can talk about it all day, but as a crew chief, you got a challenge to turn the tunnel turn and turn 3 being kind of flat, slower race corners, and then turn 1 is the one you get to first. You carry a lot more speed, and the travel of these cars has got to be different from all 3 of these corners. How do you keep your driver off the racetrack but also be fast for this qualifying lap?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a balance between all 3 corners. The worst thing is it rained out both times last year, so we don't have any notes with Joey. Joey doesn't have any experience here. We made 1 qualifying run. They put us 12th today on the sheet. We were a little too free, so hopefully we made the right adjustments, and we can back up our time. We've got an early draw, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that doesn't hurt us too bad.
And you told him, drive it in turn 1, it'll stick, right?
Absolutely.
We'll see if that works out. Bob?
Well, Hermie, one guy who should be good here at Pocono is this guy, Marcos Ambrose, because they call this a roval. It's a mix between a road course and an oval. We know this guy's really good on the road courses. 29th quick in the practice session. What can we expect from you in qualifying, Marcos?
Doesn't feel anything like a road course to me, I've got to be honest with you. This is one of the toughest tracks we go to. It's old, it's bumpy, it's fast. The corner's very unique, so it's hard to set up for, it's hard to drive. We're looking forward to it. Feel like we've got a good car, and I just got to put a lap down now. It's a hard track to get right. You carry a lot of momentum. If you make a small mistake, it really costs you a lot on the stopwatch.
What's the most difficult part about this racetrack?
Well, it's just managing the bumps in turn 1. If you get through there clean, then you normally you lose off the tunnel turn and turn 3. So you tend to be a little too tight through the bumps into 1, and if you can actually roll through there without getting the car all bent out of shape coming off and carry the momentum, it sets up a great lap.
Hey, late breaking news here in the garage area is that you are now best friends with Tony Stewart. What's that about?
Well, he went out to Australia at Christmas time last year, and he came across a drink that he really likes, and he hasn't been able to find it anywhere. So I bought over a friend from Australia. He bought some with him, and I'm drip feeding him like one or 2 of these drinks every weekend. So I'm trying to milk it. He's got a lot to offer me. I got a lot to learn off him. So hopefully, as we roll through here and I give him more drinks, he'll be more open to let me know how he goes around these racetracks.
What's it called?
I can't tell you that. It's top secret.
Oh, top secret drink from Australia. How about that, Johnny? We got to find out.
Hey, well, you know what? Here's no secret about this. Marcus Ambrose and crew chief Frankie Kerr joined us on NASCAR Smarts this week, and you're going to want to see that episode. We had a lot of fun with them. And, Randy, talking about Denny Hamlin, going back over and talking to Joey Logano, when Denny Hamlin was a rookie, he came to this racetrack and swept both races in 2006. So I think I'd go to Denny Hamlin and ask questions about how to get around here.
Without a doubt. I mean, he's definitely got this place figured out. He loves the feel of this racetrack. He understands it. You know, a lot of drivers find a certain racetrack that they just become acclimated to. And Denny Hamlin loves Pocono as well as Martinsville and a bunch of others. But certainly here at Pocono, what he did as a rookie was absolutely amazing. When you go back to talk about Marcus Ambrose, let's not forget, back here in June, they pulled a little strategy, but, you know, he finished 6th here. So he does like this racetrack, runs very well here, and I expect him to have a good run here this weekend as well.
And don't give up on your driver at this racetrack. Tony Stewart wrecked in practice, went to a backup car in 2009 and won. Remember, Denny Hamlin, one of his victories here was a spin to win.
That's right.
He was spinning through the infield and still came back to win it.
And Tony wrecked twice here last year and
right.
almost won 2 races from doing it. So, yeah, you know, hopefully that we won't see any wrecks here in practice, and these guys will all be able to run their main car here. But, yeah, do not give up on your driver here before you get to the green flag, that's for sure.
Now, even though it worked out well with some of the drivers, we don't recommend going out and wrecking your race car. It's easier to keep your plan A. Jeff Gordon's seen victory lane here before. We got Sprint Cup Series qualifying coming your way in just a moment. Keep it right here on Speed.
The action heated up in Charlotte as Kyle Busch battled his way to victory lane. Tonight, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series invades the Lone Star State, and we're there as racing's roughest and toughest put on a 700-horsepower stampede. Hold on to your hats for a gunslinging wheel-to-wheel Wild West shootout. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, live from Texas, tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
600 pounds of salmon breath. You in? 5th generation Forerunner. Sucker punched by a big fish. You in? 5th generation Forerunner.
His company doesn't offer medical insurance, so we needed an affordable health plan that fit our family's needs.
When I started my own business, I didn't think I could afford health insurance. I just wanted to be able to see my personal doctor once a year.
When I retired, we were years away from Medicare.
But we still needed protection. What if something serious happened?
So a friend recommended Assurant Health. We were able to protect our entire family. They even have a dental plan.
I saved hundreds of dollars by only paying for benefits I want. I even got a 15% discount just for being healthy.
We can use any doctor or hospital and can even see the specialist we choose.
Without a referral.
For over 100 years, Assurant Health has been meeting the needs of individuals like you. Plans start under $100 per month.
Get the insurance you need. Call 1-800-247-5147 or go online now.
Speed welcomes you back to Pocono, Pennsylvania. It's time for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, brought to you by Subway. 45 teams are here for 43 spots in Sunday afternoon's race, the 14th race of this 2010 season. Warm afternoon here, temperature 83 degrees, track temp at 117, just a 10% chance of showers. So the weather looks good here for qualifying. There was no qualifying last season, so we're looking forward to all 45 cars timing in here on this very difficult racetrack. Hi, everybody. Steve Burns, Larry McReynolds, Jeff Hammond back with you. And, you know, Larry, we like to talk numbers sometimes, but I think what's important when we talk about Pocono and qualifying, 40 of the 64 races here have been won from a top 5 starting spot.
Yeah, it's because when you're fast in qualifying, you normally can relate it and be awfully fast in race trim as well. But the thing about this track, especially qualifying, you've got 2 of the longest straightaways on the schedule, aside from the back straightaway at Daytona and Talladega. You're running speeds over 200 miles an hour down this front straightaway getting into turn 1. And it's 3 turns, it's 3 corners, and every one is different. Turn 1 has all the bumps. Turn 2, drivers say it's the most challenging corner on all of the Cup circuit, and turn 3 goes forever and ever with basically no banking whatsoever. But when it comes to qualifying, I think the difference in who runs fast and who runs slow may not be who has the fastest or the slowest race car. It'll be who overdrives or does not overdrive that race car. Very easy to do at this racetrack.
Well, the thing is, you talk about hitting your marks. I think one of the things today that could help this, and we've already seen the temperatures as far as 83 degrees, 117-degree track temperature, but it's starting to cloud up. They are expecting some thunderstorms here later on this afternoon, even into early tomorrow morning. So if you're lucky enough, as far as the draw is concerned, a cloud comes up, they can have a big difference as far as how this grip goes in this racetrack. Guys like Jimmy Johnson going out 13th, he was the fastest guy in qualifying. But when you take a look on back to the back of the field, you got Dale Earnhardt Jr., very fast. Juan Pablo Montoya along with Denny Hamlin, they were all very quick also. If they can catch a cloud late in the draw, that could be the difference between whether they sit on the pole or not.
Guys, Marty Snyder standing by with a former winner here at Pocono. Marty?
Indeed, that would be Carl Edwards, who probably had to work pretty hard to find his car this morning because a brand new paint scheme for Carl. 31st in practice. You and I were just talking. Should we be worried about that or what?
Well, I don't know if we should be worried about that so much as me hitting the curb and the tunnel turn, which I do every time.
You're not supposed to do that.
Not supposed to hit that curb, but the car usually turns so much better, and we usually spend our time in race trim that I drive down in there and hit the curb. But I promise, Bob, I'm not going to do that today. So, yeah, but yeah, the cars looks great. We've got Tony the Tiger on the hood. Proud to have Kellogg's on board, and this Gillette Fusion ProGlide race should be pretty cool. We've done a lot with them. The commercials are really good. I hope people enjoy that. But really proud to have Kellogg's on board. It's been a fun partnership.
For you, this is the first double of the year. Is that a part of the season you don't look forward to, or what?
No, it's great. I ride in the back of Jack's plane and eat his food and read his magazines, and pretty excited about going and running that car at Nashville too.
All right, they will head off later this weekend to Nashville, Steve.
Well, Marty, Ryan Newman, the first driver out.
And you heard him say it. Larry Mack kind of bring it up. Hitting your marks, not hitting the curb. That's how important this race is and how important it is making a good qualifying attempt here. And Larry, even like coming up to speed here now, what do you want to do? You want to start getting your momentum going now, or do you want to wait to get through the tunnel turn and then try to gas it up off of turn 3?
The biggest thing, we know probably all these top 35 guys, there's that curb that Carl Edwards was talking about there in the tunnel turn 2. But if anything, right here going into turn 3, back off a little early and get that good run off turn 3, come to take the green flag, because most of these guys are probably only going to do one lap.
And Larry, for years, as we see Ryan Newman get off turn 3, all the drivers say you've got to get off turn 3 to keep the momentum for 3,740 feet of straightaway.
This is the front straightaway I was talking about. You're right at 200 miles an hour, and then you drive it down into turn 1. Ryan's up the racetrack a little bit because he's trying to stay out of those bumps at the bottom of the racetrack.
And the car looks like it's a little bit loose. You watch him, Larry, inside there. He was turning back just a little bit to the right, going down in that corner right there, so the car's already telling me it's loose.
Ryan Newman will be followed by Carl Edwards, Marcus Ambrose, Bobby Labonte, and Kevin Harvick.
Now, the first win that Ryan Newman ever had in a stock car came right here at Pocono in July of 2000. He was in the ARCA series back then, before Roger Penske moved on to the Nationwide series, and then, of course, to the Sprint Cup series.
Ryan has a Cup win here, that coming in July 2003.
And he stayed in the top 10 almost that entire hour and a half practice. He ran a 54.01. Woo! Picks it up about 3/4 of a second, which is not unusual for Pocono from practice to qualify.
That's a good pickup right there by Ryan Newman.
A little bit of hop, skip, and jump over here in 1.
Let's go back to Marty Snyder.
Joey Logano inside the comfort of his Home Depot Toyota, and nice and shady in here, Logano. I got to hang out here with you. How much of your day today was just spent learning, trying to get as much from Denny Hamlin as you could?
Quite a bit, to be honest with you. Denny's pretty fast here today. He's always been pretty fast here. So as they're picking his brain as much as can, we got to follow him, talk to him on the radio a little bit, trying to figure out what we can do to make the Home Depot Toyota faster. So I think we're going to be okay for qualifying. It seemed like in race trim we were good for the first lap, and then we dropped off way too quick. So we're going to have to figure out what we got to do to be good on the long run here. And hopefully we get practice tomorrow. It sounds like it's supposed to rain for practice, but hopefully we can get some laps in it.
What was his advice for qualifying? I'm almost afraid to know what his advice was.
There's a lot. Believe me. There's 3.
You're not going to give it away, are you?
There's 3 turns, so there's that much more advice that's going on. But you know, mainly just focusing mostly on turn 1. That seems like that's where most of the time is given up or gained a lot there, getting off that corner. It's such a long back straightaway there is pretty long, so you need to get it right off the corner. So it all starts in corner entry and trying to get that right, and that kind of sets up your whole lap.
Steve, I know the crew chiefs know up there, having a guy like Denny Hamlin on Logano's team, that has to be a huge help for this young guy.
Yeah, we actually saw, I think after Joey went out there and followed Denny in practice, as we see Carl Edwards start his qualifying run, we saw Denny Hamlin huddled together with Joey Logano with Joey's crew chief, Greg Zipadelli.
Now, Larry, watching the 99 of Carl Edwards, now he was down the racetrack, and you can see the car bouncing around a lot more down low. You talk about the way Ryan was trying to avoid these bumps. Looks to me like Carl was just trying to challenge him.
Well, he was successful not hitting the curb like he promised his crew chief, Bob Osborne.
Carl's winless streak now at 49 races. Hard to believe coming off the year he had in 2008 where he had, what, 9 wins?
9 wins. In this race a year ago, he led 103 of the 200 laps, but ended up finishing second to Tony Stewart.
Do you know how many laps he's led this year?
Not very many.
2.
And it was only 1 race, I think.
Richmond, yeah. Hard to believe.
He picks up almost 9/10 of a second, so you got to be pretty happy with that pickup, though.
53.76. to Ryan Newman's 53.35.
Yeah, this is just one of those racetracks, I think, once you really trim this thing out for qualifying, you pump the air pressure up in the tires, you put as much tape as you can stand on the nose, that it's not unusual to pick up half to a full second from what you practice to what you qualify. And as Jeff pointed out, the more these clouds roll in, you're going to gain grip and should even pick up more.
And the good thing about Carl Edwards right now, he does have 2 wins here. You look behind him. Here comes Marcus Ambrose getting his car up to speed.
Boy, the number for Marcus Ambrose that he'd rather erase 5, as in 5 DNFs. Just 30th in points after a very promising 2009 season.
Jamie McMurray really wishes he didn't have one of those DNFs, because Marcos was the one that spun off 2, brought that final caution out last week at Charlotte with 20 to go that kind of reset the field and allowed Kurt Busch to win the race on that little short run at the end.
Also joining us today, good friend Ralph Shaheen. Ralph?
Well, thanks, Steve. Down here with Ryan Newman, who just crawled out of his car. Well, what'd you think of the lap? Did you like it?
I told him I hate being the guinea pig in qualifying, because you never know what the track's going to have in it for grip, and coming out for Hoosier rubber with Goodyear tires. So it was. It felt like it was a pretty good lap. I didn't hit everything just right, but you know, I'm hoping for a top 10 qualifying effort there. We got the worst draw possible in one of the racetracks that's very temperature sensitive. Unfortunately, we got a little cloud cover here, so we'll see where we end up.
All right, Steve, the one thing he said is, I asked him what he thought of the time, because, the one thing about being first, you never know where it's going to end up.
Yeah, Ralph, he also referenced Hoosier Rubber, the ARCA teams qualifying just before the Cup teams. You'll see the ARCA REMAX Series race on speed tomorrow at 4 Eastern.
So Marcus Ambrose there has got a good lap going for his number 47 ride. Good enough for second quick.
53.58 for Marcus Ambrose. Coming up, we'll see Bobby Labonte, Kevin Harvick, and Joey Logano, and Jimmy Johnson signs a few autographs for the fans. We'll be right back.
I'm Kyle Busch, and you're watching Speed.
It all comes down to this. Don't miss the Fast Track to Fame Battle of Champions from Charlotte Motor Speedway, Monday on Speed.
Feeling free as a bird now. Fly it. Gonna see the whole world now. Try it. These days are better than before. I want more. These days are better than before. I want more. These days are better than before. I want more.
Geico Insurance. See how much you could save at geico.com.
In today's cars, there's self-adjusting cylinders, self-deploying spoilers. Why not a self-cleaning engine? Next generation Pennzoil Motor Oil cleans out up to 40% of sludge. So turn your engine into a self-cleaning engine and feel the clean.
I want to
into one of those dollar stores the other day to buy a pencil, and guess how much it cost? $2. Not no math whiz, but it seems to me the money doesn't go as far as it used to. With Denny's new 2 4 6 8 value menu, you can get 16 different meals for 2 4 6.
Presented by Subway Restaurants. So many $5 foot-long subs to choose from. Enjoy amazing value at Subway all day, every day.
You know, I feel like we should even expand just a little bit more as we watch Bobby Labonte start his qualifying run in a 71 car. Ryan was talking about the Hoosier Rubber, and you talked about that's what the ARCA cars that just qualified, what they have. It's not that the rubber is a different rubber. It's a different compound. It's a little stickier than these Goodyear tires, and that rubber goes on the racetrack, and until a few of the Cup cars run, to kind of change that rubber that's down, it just gives the car a little bit different feel.
Bobby Labonte, a three-time winner here. Larry, I thought you were going to expand on the Subway footlong promo there for a second.
No.
You went right to it. That was great.
I just wanted to make sure and make that point before it became real old news.
Put a period on it.
Put a period on it.
You're the man.
Old news?
Yeah. Okay. A few more cars, the Hoosier Rubber will be old news. Bobby was 32nd quickest in practice earlier at a 54.70. Bobby has those 4 wins here, all when he drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, the 18 car. You'll see most of these cars up the racetrack just a little bit. A few years ago, they put a new patch all the way through turn 3 that's about halfway up the racetrack. They were having troubles with the racetrack there. They said, it won't be a big deal to put that patch because it's so far off the groove. Shoot, the minute they opened for practice, cars went straight to that fresh asphalt to gain grip. But I was talking to Clint Boyer between practice and qualifying. He said he actually thinks the groove's going to move down a little bit, that patch does not have the grip that it at one time had because it's been down there a few years.
54.50 for Bobby Labonte, the slowest of 4 drivers to qualify thus far.
When I was down by his car earlier, I think I know what his problem is here. He's wearing a Georgia Bulldog race helmet. Could be the problem.
Alabama, eh?
I'm just saying.
Kevin Harvick out on the racetrack, and we want to remind you that Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile at sprint.com/speed. Let's go back to Marty Snyder.
Well, I know a lot of guys are going to Nashville this weekend, but I think I found the busiest man in the garage area. Tony Stewart's trying to run this weekend at Pocono, and you're also organizing a little race on Wednesday, aren't you? Tell us how the Prelude preparations are going, Smoke.
It's going real well. If the weather holds out for us, we're in great shape right now. Got a great lineup of drivers and cars that are coming, so really excited for Wednesday, and glad that we got Gillette Fusion ProGlide with us this coming Wednesday, and they're also the big sponsor this weekend. So it's a busy weekend and a half for them, and really excited about getting back to Eldora and having my buddies come again.
Who's your early favorite, real quick?
I have been. I won the last 2, but I don't know. I went and won a modified race earlier this year there, but I didn't feel like I was good as I've been there, so I feel like I got a little bit of work to do. But I would say Clint Boyer, Kenny Wallace, Matt Kenseth. There's a lot of these guys that really have been coming on the last couple of years that are about due to get them a win there.
All right, a little handicapping from the promoter and the driver. Tony Stewart getting ready to go out and qualify, Steve.
And Marty Speed will have a preview show of that at 6 p.m. that Wednesday night coming up. Kevin Harvick, third overall at a 53.72.
Yeah,
in 3. A little bit loose off the tunnel.
Yeah, his car actually looked a little on the free side all the way around this racetrack during that qualifying lap, especially as it started the late exit off of turn 1 even.
But Larry, like you pointed out, it comes to qualifying, these guys try to go a little bit quicker, and that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, for a crew chief, is trying to figure out how to keep the race car off the racetrack when these guys really bonsai it off in like turn 1, for example, and start trying to pick that throttle up a little more aggressively. And that's when you start finding, okay, well, we're not quite where we need to be. Still a pretty good effort right there by Kevin Harvick, our point leader. And I said it earlier in our first broadcast, if they could get out of here with a top 10 finish, they could be pretty happy.
Joey Logano out on the racetrack, Jeff, and we go back to Ralph Shaheen.
Well, I'm down here with Marcos Ambrose, who just crawled out of his car. When you got out here, you showed me your hand, and it was shaking. You still shaky?
Yeah, I just get mad behind the wheel. You know, I tend to really white knuckle it, and if I'm going to run fast, just got to stay relaxed. I tried to, but it's actually the first time I've qualified here. Last year, both qualifyings got rained out, so I didn't know what to expect. We gained over a second from practice to qualifying lap, and that's a lot of speed to find. And when you're doing that much faster out there on the racetrack, you really don't know what's coming next. So, you know, I'm pleased I got that lap done. I feel like it's going to be good for us, somewhere close to the top 15. Won't be the front row, but it'll be hopefully better than where we have been the last few weeks.
He'll become cool and collected now through the rest of the weekend. Then he told me, Steve, he'll try to get himself mad again just before the race starts.
Well, Ralph, we know what he's looking forward to. Those 2 road courses coming up at Infineon in a couple of weeks and Watkins Glen in August. In fact, Marcos was part of a Goodyear tire test, a 2-day tire test this past week up at Watkins Glen.
That seems almost unfair.
Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton was with him, so
what does that tell you?
Yeah.
It's going to be a good little qualifying lap for Joey Logano in this 20 car. Looks like he's going to be second quickest at a 53.49, about a tenth and a half off Ryan Newman. Good lap.
168.240 miles per hour for Joey Logano. Coming up, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, and Casey Mears.
I'm Casey.
It's like a blast of hydration to your face. New Schick Hydro, with water-activated gel that hydrates your skin as you shave and lasts up to twice as long as ordinary strips, while 5 blades with skin guards smooth the skin to reduce irritation. It's the best shave for your skin. The new Schick Hydro, free your skin.
The NASCAR experience live. Everything else is just a game.
Matt Kenseth, the 7th driver of 45 to qualify here this afternoon. Pocono Raceway. Let's go back to Marty.
And walking down pit road with Jeff Burton, and well, let's talk about how we left the Coke 600. First of all, everything okay with you and Kyle Busch now? You and I talked. Think you're over it now, right?
Well, I get over things pretty quickly. Once I get it off my chest, then it's time to move on. You know, in this sport, you race each other every week, and you see each other every week, and you know you can carry grudges if you want to, but it makes life a little long to do that. So, you know, I'm here to race Pocono and try to get ourselves in a chase.
I guess the best part is that the performance is probably the best it's been all season right now. Would you agree?
Oh, we've been really good all year. I mean, we put ourselves in position to win a lot of races. We haven't won any. A lot of top fives have gotten away from us in the last 20 laps of races, but you know that's a good thing. And we just got to what we got to do is stay focused to get a little better, find a way to close things off. But I think we were pretty good today. We were experimenting a little bit, trying some stuff, and I think we were okay. See if we can make it just a touch better.
All right, have fun on your qualifying lap, Ralph.
Well, turn 2 for you, Kevin Harvick, was kind of the trouble spot during practice, but it looks like you got pretty good through there during your qualifying run. What'd you find?
I don't really think that's going to be very good, to be honest with you. We're still just too loose. I got through 1 pretty good. 2 I had to get out of the throttle in 2, and I just can't get through 3 very good just because it's so free right there. But they made it better. We improved by ½ second from our practice time, and we'll go racing from there.
I guess all you need now is a cheesesteak and a Flyers jersey. Have fun, man.
Yeah, Ralph, he's heading over to see the Flyers and the Blackhawks tonight in Philly.
Yeah, Kevin comes into the weekend 3rd in the Nationwide Series points, but a lot like Kyle Busch, both those drivers have decided not to pursue the championship in the Nationwide Series in 2010.
Speaking of 3rd, Matt Kenseth just finished qualifying 3rd, and guys watching his speed down into turn 1. He's the first guy I've seen up almost at 200, 199 miles an hour, running the FR9 engine in that 17 car this weekend. Gave up just a little bit of time, I think, off of turn 3, but he picked up right at, I'm talking about 9/10 of a second qualifying.
As we watch Tony Stewart, I want to ask you about that FR9. Are all the 4 teams running it across the board?
Not yet. I mean, there's a lot more of them here this weekend. Can't give you an exact. I think Carl Edwards, I think Elliott Sadler and a couple of other teams are running it, with the Roush Fenway group. But by the time we get to July 4th here, the next month, they should everybody switched over. They're hoping maybe you have them all in, maybe in their cars for next weekend at Michigan too. So I know that's a big goal of Doug Yates and Jack Roush to try to get that done. They feel like it's going to help not only to handle it, but they're starting to find some more stuff with that engine. So it should be better for the Fords.
Marty.
Well, Steve, fastest on your speed chart was Mr. Jimmy Johnson, but an early draw, probably not what you wanted. But more importantly, you got to get out of here this weekend. You're going to Watkins Glen tonight and then racing tomorrow, correct? You practicing tonight?
Yeah, I was there this morning for practice, and unfortunately, GT car had an oil problem and dropped a bunch of oil, so the session I was to get a lot of time in didn't work out, and I got 5 laps. So once I finish up here, and I hope to be on the pole, which would certainly impact my time in the car and my need to get out of here quickly. So we'll see how that goes, but there's a practice session that goes from 6:30 to 7 tonight that I would love to be in and have more than 5 laps of practice before I start that thing. But this Lowe's and Paul has been awesome, so I can't complain. If I'm here because we're on the pole, I'm going to be very, very happy about that.
All right, speaking of the pole, I believe Tony Stewart just grabbed it, didn't he, Steve?
He did, Marty. He bumped his teammate Ryan Newman down 1 spot. Stewart, 53.305, 168.840 miles per hour.
Picked up a 2nd and a 10th from what he practiced right there. I'd say he's going to be pretty happy with that regardless of where it ends up.
Tony won this race. Sorry, Jeff. Tony won this race 1 year ago
in a backup car.
Yep.
He was on the pole by virtue of qualifying being rained out because he was the points leader, and in Saturday morning's practice got loose up off the tunnel turn, went through the infield, killed the splitter and part of the nose, and had to go to the rear of the field with a backup car.
Casey Mears up next in the Red Bull Toyota. We go to Ralph.
3rd on the grid right now is Joey Logano. I heard you saying that you know where you lost a little bit of time. Where was that?
I felt like it was all off of 1, and that's where I've been getting beat all day, really. And that's, I think, where the biggest corner you got to hit right here, I think. So I just felt like I got to the gas good, and I started washing the nose up a little bit, and then it snapped a little bit on the free side. And I feel like a little bit's at least a 1/10 to 2/10 by the time we get into that straightaway. But the guys did a great job getting the Home Depot Toyota fast here. We just got to work on our race run. So I'm really hoping we get practice in. But nothing else will give us a good starting position. Hopefully in the top 10, maybe not, but I think we'll be decent with it. So that's all right for our first time. I never got to qualify here before. Last year it rained out both times, so it's pretty cool to have a decent run here for first time.
I'd say that's a pretty good effort, and of course knowing where you're a little bit off is half the battle too, guys.
Yeah, I know one thing that I believe this 83 car is off, Jeff, is the fact is how much the thing is. I know everybody's car is bouncing, but this one seems like it's bouncing a lot. And the big thing I noticed, it looks like it's really picking the left front up as far as late exit of the corner.
No, I agree with you there. It looks like it was bouncing up the racetrack through 1 and 2, and then once he made those exits, almost like the left front was picking up. And again, all that does is kill your exit speed as well as your straightaway speed.
Casey, a former pole sitter here. He did that back in 2004. 7th of 9 drivers to qualify. Coming up, Martin Truex Jr., Jamie McMurray, and Jeff Burton. Stay with us here on Speed. We're in Pocono, Pennsylvania.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day tackles the Steve Addington join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live from Pocono Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
Go, dude, go! Are you sure the parachute was packed right? Probably!
Sometimes probably doesn't cut it. That's why Valvoline guarantees your engine up to 300,000 miles. Sign up at Valvoline.com.
There's that one that says free HD switch. Let's start there. Can't do it. Let me ask you this, do you have any tools?
His company doesn't offer medical insurance, so we needed an affordable health plan that fit our family's needs.
When I started my own business, I didn't think I could afford health insurance. I just wanted to be able to see my personal doctor once a year.
When I retired, we were years away from Medicare.
But we still needed protection. What if something serious happened? So a friend recommended Assurant Health. We were able to protect our entire family. They even have a dental plan.
I saved hundreds of dollars by only paying for benefits I want. I even got a 15% discount just for being healthy.
We can use any doctor or hospital and can even see the specialist we choose.
Without a referral.
For over 100 years, Assurant Health has been meeting the needs of individuals like you. Plans start under $100 per month.
Get the insurance you need. Call 1-800-247-5147 or go online now.
Martin Truex in the Napa Toyota of Michael Waltrip Racing, set on the pole at Dover, qualified 3rd for the 600 at Charlotte.
Martin has 8 starts here. He did qualify and finish 3rd here in the spring of 2007. In the second race of that year, his crew chief Pat Tryson with Kurt Busch, they led 175 of 200 laps in one race. Martin was 11th quickest at a 54.12 in that practice we had a little earlier today. You know, I'm sure it was to Martin and Pat Tryson and that whole 56 team, but this group really caught me off guard at Charlotte. You know, the way they ran in the showdown and in the all-star race, qualified 3rd for the 600, but just really off in that race. This car.
I only got 1 box, right? Step 4, you get 2 laps. Get 2, which is, you know, the first one's going to be your best one.
The problem they're talking about is he came down in that long straightaway, Steve. All of a sudden, the engine, I thought he'd blown up, but it sounds like maybe he had an ignition box problem. Martin has reached over, switched that, continued to make the lap. But his crew chief, Pat Tryson, said, look, usually the first one's going to be your best one, so keep your foot in it, but you do have 2 laps. Depending on the temperature, don't be surprised to see this 56 car maybe try a second lap.
And the biggest thing you fight is because of how long these straightaways are and how important the tape is on the nose right there underneath the front bumper area, you start to run pretty warm if you try to run the second lap, because honestly, he's already made 2 full laps around this racetrack with the get up to speed lap.
Did you see that pointer? Look how much it's jumped, Larry. Even though it's his second lap, if he cannot overheat, he may improve his position. Right now, he's currently 9th.
I'd shut it off.
Yeah, she got too hot.
Let's go to Ralph.
Well, we're down here with Tony Stewart getting out of the car, talking with his guys. All right, so number 14 is number 1 right now. That's got to feel pretty good. We were just discussing race trim. How good is it for that?
We weren't the first hour of practice. We weren't very good, and then we got going the second or the last half hour. We got going pretty decent the first half of it, and then we had to switch over to a qualifying trim. But I think it's a lot better. It got a lot more drivable at the end of the session there. So I'm happy that Darian and these guys have done a good job. This is a place we haven't been very good at lately, so try to get good again.
Well, you know, we talked, guys, earlier today during practice about Tony searching for momentum beginning here this weekend. You can put it on the pole. That'll give you a big shot of momentum right there.
Well, it would, Ralph. And, you know, he's 16th in the points. Only 27 points outside the top 12 as we're halfway through the 26 races of the race to the chase.
I want to remind you that tomorrow the Rolex Sports Car Series screams into Watkins Glen, where four-timer NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson will join the Gainesco 99 team for his first 6 hours at the Glen. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series from Watkins Glen tomorrow live, 2 p.m. Eastern, and only on Speed.
Well, he ran the 24-hour race at Daytona back in late January, early February, so 6 hours ought to be a piece of cake, right?
Should be.
If you say so.
He's going to co-drive with Alex Gurney and John Fogerty.
He looked like he may have clipped the curb right there a little bit, the way that car did a little D-I-do off that tunnel turn.
Which, unless, you know, you do damage to the splitter, this is his get-up-to-speed lap. If anything, it made him probably much more aware of it when he goes back through there.
14 Pocono starts for Jamie. Best finished 9th. He's done that twice.
I can really say the way it looked when he came off of turn 4 there, he really left everything out there on the table trying to make a good, fast come up the speed lap and see what he can do through 1 and 2 here. Car looked a little bit free off of 4.
Turn 3 or turn 4?
You're right, turn 3.
Well, no, we said
it should be turn 3. So used to thinking 4. Got to remember, we're Pocono. This is a triangle. It's got 3 corners.
Don't think this is going to be the run that Jamie was hoping to get. Now, he stayed up in the top 5, top 10 most of that practice, but when everybody started reeling off those practice qualifying runs, it was all said and done. He was 27th in practice, and he's using
every bit of
that's left off of turn.
Every bit of it.
6th overall for Jamie McMurray and then McDonald Chevrolet.
And a lot of that was bought through turn 3. He really got through the middle of turn 3 and got off the corner and bought him a little bit.
When we come back, we'll see the qualifying efforts of Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson, Sam Hornish Jr., and Brad Keselowski.
The action heated up in Charlotte as Kyle Busch battled his way to victory lane. Tonight, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series invades the Lone Star State, and we're there as racing's roughest and toughest put on a 700-horsepower stampede. Hold on to your hats for a gunslinging wheel-to-wheel Wild West shootout. Oh! Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, live from Texas, tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. More prizes and chances to win this year's grand prize. A 4-Winds Hurricane Motorhome. Second prize, a new Coleman Travel Trailer.
Plus, great Camping World RV and outdoor accessories.
Over $100,000 in prizes will be given away during the Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes in 2010.
Log on to campingworld.com or visit any Camping World retail location to enter and for prize details.
Watch Camping World's Destination Recreation product features on Speed during the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race.
12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1, the choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
I know you love this car. A lot of memories. I'm glad you're all right.
At The Hartford, we hear from our AARP auto insurance customers all the time.
but not just about savings and benefits for drivers 50 and over. Usually, they just want to thank us for making a difficult time a little less difficult.
It's perfect. Where'd you find it? I was just driving up here. There's
The AARP Auto Insurance Program from the Hartford.
What do you look for in a great mower? Start by looking for a Kawasaki engine. Kawasaki engines are known for having backbone, muscle, lasting power. So look for the Kawasaki name. You know what lawn care pros say. Inside every great mower is a great Kawasaki engine. Kawasaki engines are the critical component. Look for genuine Kawasaki engines and select Dixon mowers at the Home Depot and your local lawn and garden dealer.
33rd Pocono start for Jeff Burton on Sunday. 11 drivers have qualified. Tony Stewart with the lap to beat of a 53.30.
And, you know, Marty talked to Jeff a while ago about that incident late in the race in the Coke 600 last week at Charlotte. And, yeah, obviously he was upset at Kyle Busch, but I think the biggest thing, he was just frustrated, period. He had a car that the man had run for 380 laps and looks like he was going to maybe have a top 5, for sure a top 10, and he rose out of there 25th. I think it was more frustration just period than anything.
Ralph.
Down here with Martin Truex, who doesn't look too happy. Martin, the car didn't sound good when you went by. Any idea what the problem was?
No, not real sure. I mean, you know, we only have one box and one battery for qualifying, so you can't switch. But it was strange. It just all the way down the front straightaway was skipping real bad, and you know, wouldn't turn any RPM, and then it mysteriously went away for, you know, off of turn 1 down the backstretch. So not real sure, but Napa Toyota was actually driving real well. I thought it was going to be a good lap without that. So the guys did good. We'll just have to go back and figure out what happened and race them on Sunday.
All right, we'll have fun at the Flyers game tonight. See if you can relax a little bit there. And I can tell you guys, Pat Tryson not happy at all.
Well, and I think we should explain why only one ignition box and one battery for qualifying, and you would have it for the race. Obviously, you want to keep as much weight out of these cars as possible. They still all have to weigh the same, as Jeff Burton ends up 4th quickest in that 31 car. But by eliminating parts and pieces, even for qualifying, that lets you put a lot more ballast down in the frame rails, which is the lowest part of the race car. That really helps a car handle and turn, especially through the flatter corners like we have here.
Is that going to be on NASCAR Performance?
We actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Yep, sure did.
I DVR'd that one. I guess I didn't watch it.
But you need to go home and watch it.
I DVR'd.
Our buddy Booty Barker, Chad Knaus, Doug Richard, every weekend.
Speaking of Chad Knaus, here comes his favorite driver, Jimmy Johnson. Number 1 in practice earlier today.
Won both races here in 2004.
Yeah, he has 16 starts here, with 13 of those 16 starting in the top 10.
Car looked really good through the tunnel turn. Let's see what he looks off of turn 3 here, coming to take the green.
And Larry, I think it was you that mentioned during practice that uncharacteristically for this team, 3 DNFs this season.
And there's been a lot of uncharacteristic things about this race team. You just look at the 2 races that he had at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Whoa. Boy, the car was like in a 4-wheel slide right there. And that, because he didn't get off that corner, as you see, it hurts the speed all the way down this straightaway right here. But yeah, you even go back to Dover, speeding on pit road after dominating that race. Just things are happening to this 48 team that you just don't normally see. I'm seeing one right now being 10th out of 12 cars now, continuing to slide back here qualifying.
And we mentioned it, he was the fastest in practice. So that slip's going to cost Jimmy Johnson perhaps a run at the pole. Yeah, just 10th of 13 cars to have qualified here today at Pocono. Well, stay with us. You're going to see Sam Hornish Jr., Brad Keselowski, David Gilliland, and David Rudiman all gunning at Tony Stewart.
Tonight, don't miss Juan Pablo Montoya on NASCAR trackside. Then the world's toughest truck stampede into Texas to trade some pain in the Lone Star State. Live speed coverage continues tonight at 6:30 Eastern with NASCAR Trackside.
Only on Speed. When my dad wasn't racing cars, he was rebuilding them. And the same went for me. That's why when I want to look for a classic to rebuild, I go to Copart.com. Copart.com has over 50,000 vehicles online to choose from every day. Everything from classics, cars, trucks, motorcycles, rebuilders, you name it. That's what makes Copart.com the virtual auction for people who are passionate about cars, like me, Carl Edwards. Copart.com, where car guys get cars.
People notice yellow stains, so try new Speed Stick Stain Guard with stain defense technology that helps protect you and your shirts. New Speed Stick Stain Guard, smarter than sweat.
In today's cars, there's self-adjusting cylinders, self-deploying spoilers. Why not a self-cleaning engine? Next generation Pennzoil Motor Oil cleans out up to 40% of sludge. So turn your engine into a self-cleaning engine and feel the clean.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. If your home was built before 1978, your kids could be at risk. Log on to leadfreekids.org or call 800-424-LEAD.
What gets you moving? Because when you get moving an hour a day, you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov. That's www.letsmove.gov.
Performance. It offers all-in-one protection, and it's been downloaded by millions of users.
Even if you have antivirus software, your computer could still be infected. Find out instantly with a free comprehensive diagnosis at mycleanpc.com.
Discover the soul of NASCAR at over 50 NASCAR home tracks across North America. Visit NASCARHometracks.com to find a track near you.
Sam Hornish Jr. be the 14th driver to qualify, and we go back to Ralph.
Down here with Jamie McMurray chatting things over. Now, you guys spent a lot of time working on brakes today in practice. Did that hurt you for qualifying?
A little bit. We spent like 40 minutes trying to get them rebled and just where the pedal would feel right. Some of that's my fault because I made them change the brakes before we came here. We went and did some road course testing, and the brakes that they had on the car, I didn't like them as much as what we had at the shop. So we changed the brakes, and it was kind of a last-minute deal. And when I got in the car, the pedal just didn't feel right. So we had to spend a little bit of time working on that. But our McDonald Chevrolet was good in race trim, but we only got to make one qualifying run, and it wasn't very good in qualifying trim. And Bono made some good changes there. We just didn't seem to have enough speed in qualifying trim.
Always good to share the blame with the guys, Jamie. Good job.
You know, as I was in the garage area this morning, about all of the brake companies, and there's about 3 or 4 of them had representatives here, and all of them that I talked to said we are more nervous about the brakes here than any short track we go to, because you do use a tremendous amount of brake, and unlike at ovals, you use it 3 times a lap here instead of 2.
Not to mention how much speed they're carrying down into the corners.
Sam Hornish Jr. in this 77 actually has got a pretty good lap going here. He was 19th in practice.
But Larry, the thing is, if you notice, he really was good through 1 at over 200 miles an hour, entering the corner, got off of turn 1 down the other short chute or down the back straightaway, but all of a sudden he's giving it back through the flatter parts of the racetrack.
You know, Jeff, you talked about the draw and this cloud covering, just what's rolling in here, and some of these clouds are starting to get a little black and gray, but the track temperature has dropped about 7 or 8 degrees, which is actually a lot. It's just going to gain grip.
Yep.
Let's go back to Marty.
I can confirm down to 110 on the track temperature. So Clint Boyer's hoping for a cloud when he goes out and qualifies. That's nice, isn't it, when you're out there? You guys switched to qualifying trim, and then what happened?
You know, usually in life you don't want a black cloud over your head, but I would say right now for the next 20 minutes, I wish that black cloud was over mine. It was really good in race trim. We switched over to qualifying trim, and we actually went slower. We never went as fast as we did in race trim, so tried to look at our notes there, obviously, compare some things, some differences, and try to make a good crack at it. I think Shane and all the guys on the Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet, made a good decision here. I'm excited to get out there. Had a little bit of trouble hitting the splitter down the bumps and 1. Tried to compensate for that, and every time we did,
it seemed like we went backwards. So I'm going to have to manage that a little bit in my qualifying run. And if I can get through there, through the entrance there, I think I can make up the rest of it.
We were talking about your 7th at Charlotte, and you felt like it could have been better. Why?
I didn't hear you.
You were talking about how your 7th place finish at Charlotte should have been better. Why?
Yeah, I mean, we ran better than that all night long. Some guys snookered us there at the end, stayed out on tires, and paid off for them. But we were a top 5 car. I mean, a big turnaround from where we've been the last month and a half. Proud of the guys. They've been working hard, and I think we're on to something. We'll be good here in the next couple months. I'm excited.
And guys, that was a brand new car they brought out last week at Charlotte. They hope to bring it here in the next few weeks as well, Steve.
You know what, Marty? I was in his pits last Sunday night, and they were consistently in the top 5. So that's always a good sign when you're there all day.
And then what he was talking about is Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Ryan Newman. Those guys really were outside the top 10 most of the night. They elected on that last caution with 20 to go just to stay out and keep track position.
What is it you said earlier about the box score?
That's all that matters. Read the paper, and that's what matters.
Well, speaking of all that matters, Brad Keselowski, first time here, 3rd quick right now in that number 12 Dodge.
You don't know what you don't know.
Tony Stewart, though, still the man to beat. We know that.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
No, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Introducing the Wall Lithium-Ion Groomer, the world's first groomer with the power of a lithium-ion battery. With up to 3 times the runtime, up to twice the power, and a 1-minute quick charge. With its interchangeable heads, you have the power to trim, shave, and detail even the toughest beards. The Wall Lithium-Ion Groomer. It's positively better.
Here's to getting a weekend project done in record time. Yeah. Here's to mapping out a game plan, to precise measurements, and powerful tools that make a lot of noise. Here's to getting your hands dirty and ending up with something you can be proud of. Really proud of. Here's to Joey Logano and that number 20 team. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Some athletic uniforms are designed to wick away moisture. Other uniforms are made to wick away 500-degree flames.
Qualifying continues here at the Pocono Raceway. 37 car. David Gilliland up to speed. We go back to Ralph Shaheen.
And we're on the run, too, with Jimmy Johnson. You were saying, because you got to go to Watkins Glen right now, and you were saying the car's a little loose?
Yeah, I got loose down on 1, which I didn't expect. I've got to look and see maybe what I did differently down there, or what went on. I mean, the car was flawless in practice, so disappointed with that lap. It's not what we expected, but it's a long 500-mile race, and I know we've got a good race car.
By the way, you guys qualified second. You're starting on the front row.
Awesome. That's cool. I wish we were front row here. This is the one that pays the bills, and unfortunately, just got a little too loose down there in 1.
All right, Jimmy Johnson's on his way to the Watkins Glen.
All right, thank you, Ralph, and he is on the move.
David Gilliland in this 37 car. We see him going out early for the first time in a few weeks, because after finishing 26th at the Coke 600 last week, this 37 team popped back into the top 35. That's a moving target every week.
It's a dogfight every week.
Robbie Gordon in the 7, which Ted Musgrave will be qualifying Robbie's car for him, since Robbie's down in Baja or running the off-road. I don't think he's actually Baja, but he's running the off-road truck, but outside the top 35 now after Charlotte.
He's in Mexico.
Somewhere down there.
Baja.
Hey,
it is Baja.
You went to Mexico, didn't you?
I did.
Over the holidays?
Holidays a year ago.
Senior Larry.
Yep. I know why they call Sammy Hagar's place Cabo Wabo.
You didn't get overserved, did you?
Just once.
Just
from the time I got there to the time I left.
You're a bad man. Well, speaking of bad man, trackside tonight is at Pocono. Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya stop by. 6:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Let's go to Marty Snyder.
Hey guys, I think Kurt Busch has kind of enjoyed the last couple weeks. Have you been able to savor it at all with all these wins?
It's been great. Just everybody up in Milwaukee and everybody at Miller Lite's been celebrating it with us, and of course everybody up in Detroit with Dodge. You know, being the lone Dodge team out there, there's a big banner to carry, and so it's been cool. It's been sweet. I mean, try not to do anything different. You know, I had $2 cash in my pocket a couple weeks back, and I haven't been to the ATM since. So just trying to stay on the same wave.
Keep those same $2 bills in there, huh? Now this is one of your best racetracks. You have a rookie teammate. He disqualified, and you're on the radio with him asking him how his lap was. What did you get from him?
Yeah, I was just telling him real quick. You know, everybody's been in the second groove in turn 1, right on the bottom in the tunnel turn, and then everybody's been up in that fresher asphalt in turn 3. So real proud of him. I just say, hey, good job, Greaseball. He's never been here before, and he ran a 53.50, so that's a pretty good lap.
Now there's pressure on you to go out and beat him. Larry Mack wants to know if you have named the car from last week yet.
Well, it's been a big, overwhelming success with that Vortex bottle. It's right on our paint scheme again. We weren't going to run it this week, and I think we're going to run it now through some of these summer months. So we nicknamed the car Vortex.
Very good. So Vortex, Larry Mack, and I'm sure it will be appearing at a racetrack very soon as well.
I would name it something to do with money, because I know it was a different car from the All-Star races. We watched David Rudiman in the 00 car. Not a very good run for him going. But in those 2 weeks at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kurt won $1,478,000.
Pocket change.
Ooh.
David Rudiman in the 00, the Aaron's Dream Machine for Michael Waltrip Racing. 15th overall, just a tick better than David Gilliland. And Ralph is with a guy, folks, who's in a hurry.
We're down here with Brad Keselowski, who's walking to the airplane. You got to go to Nashville. You did some time talking with Kurt Busch. He helped you with your setup. Was that a big part of that qualifying run?
Yeah, you know, that's having Kurt as a teammate, man. I got to thank him. I know he's probably getting in his car, getting ready to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if we put it on the pole, but having great teammates helps a lot. Sam helped me out a lot, too, and you know, pretty proud of everybody on this Penske Dodge Charger. That was a real strong run for a track I've never been to before.
All right, go get yourself a win now in Nashville, and he's going to be headed back here to race with us on Sunday.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski, this man right here, Paul Menard, as well as Carl Edwards would be the 3 drivers migrating back to Nashville to try to get a little practice qualifying in, and then they'll be back here tomorrow if the weather's permitting, and then back down there racing tomorrow night.
Whew. Used up a lot of racetrack right there coming to take the green.
Boy, what a great run this group had last week at Charlotte. They started 33rd, Slugger Labby. They pretty much drove up there to the top 10, and was all said and done, they came home with an 8th place finish with this 98 car.
Talking about those guys going back and forth, Carl Edwards has Eric Darnell helping him. Paul Menard will have Colin Brown, and Brad Keselowski has Parker Kligerman.
Parker Kligerman.
Attaboy. That's my man right there.
Been working on that since last year. For a while, he's just Parker K.
Paul Menard, this hasn't been the best track for Paul Menard. 6 starts, best finish of 25th.
He's going to be kind of back there in the area where David Rudiman and that group is. Martin Truex Jr., it looks like. Paul ends up 16th out of the 18 cars that's qualified so far.
We'll step aside for just a minute. When we come back, Kevin Conway, Scott Speed, and Mark Martin. Stay with us.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day tackles the Tricky Triangle at Pocono, and we're there as Kurt Busch and crew chief Steve Addington join us live to look back at the Blue Deuce's domination in Charlotte. Plus, halfway to the chase, we'll tell you who will be in and whose championship dreams will end in Richmond. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Pocono Sunday at 10 Eastern. And join the celebration at 8 Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane fueled by Sunoco.
Only on Speed.
This summer, for the first time ever, the electricity of short course off-road racing is coming to Miller Motorsports Park with the power of 800 horsepower trucks flying through the air. June 26th and 27th, Miller Motorsports Park will be transformed into a mile-long off-road battlefield. You don't want to miss Carl Renazender, Jeff Ward, Metal Militia General Brian Deegan, Kerry Hart, and all the rock stars of short course off-road when they come to Utah to play in the dirt. For tickets, go to SmithTix.com.
I just don't feel young when my skin looks old.
Gold Bond Ultimate Restoring Lotion. Moisturizers, vitamins, and restoring CoQ10 help skin renew itself.
Now my skin's fabulous. Can your lotion do that?
Gold Bond Ultimate Restoring.
This stuff really works.
If you've got pain, you need the patch.
The Icy Hot Patches. Targeted no-mess relief for shoulders, backs, even arthritis. Icy to dull pain, hot to relax it away. Stop pain right at the source. Icy Hot Patches.
Pain's no match for the Icy Hot Patch.
Introducing Xfinity Internet, only from Comcast. Stream HD movies and experience your favorite games with blazing fast download speeds. Our fastest yet. Get started with Xfinity Internet for just $24.99 a month for 6 months. It's Internet reinvented. With blazing fast speeds and the top-rated Norton Security Suite, a value of $160. Get this special introductory offer on Xfinity Internet for just $24.99 a month for 6 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Speed's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying from Pocono is brought to you by Dish Network. Why would you ever pay more for TV? And by Tornadoes. Bold is how we roll. 18 drivers have qualified here to Pocono Raceway. Jeff Gordon on the radio. Tony Stewart with the time to beat, and we go to Marty.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon among the many guys who are chatting on the radio with teammates to see how the track is reacting, and we'll find out who he was on the radio with. Who are you dialing up there?
Steve, just talking to the crew chief. You know, just trying to figure out what the track's doing. You know, Jimmy just went out and had a moment, so just trying to figure out what direction we went into, and if we went far enough. You know, I feel like we're going to be good here, but you never know. You know, this is one of those places where you go pick up a second sometimes from practice to qualifying, and it's really hard to figure out the balance and the grip level when you're doing that.
Well, and you were one of those guys who was really good in race trim, then you switched to practice, and it was okay. What's going on there, you think?
You know, it's just some people's packages, they're able to find that speed that they need for that one lap for qualifying. Our DuPont Chevrolet's been really good all day, but I do feel like when we went to qualifying trim, we were pretty much getting the max out of it. There wasn't a whole lot left, and you know, we were still good. I mean, I think we're still better than what we've been here. Drew a pretty good number here. Get a cloud cover. You know, we'll see if we go the right direction or went the right direction and how we guess for the setup, and hopefully it'll pay off for us.
Yeah, that cloud cover never hurts. We were talking about the car in race trim. He said it was excellent. In qualifying trim, he felt it was just about a top 10 car. Steve?
Marty, Kevin Conway, the slowest of 19 drivers to qualify, but he is 33rd in owner points, so locked in.
Kevin told me earlier this morning, first time here at Pocono with for this driver. Was out earlier this morning with Max Pappas and Juan Pablo Montoya, getting a little coaching from Juan. He said also that he'd run on the simulators quite a bit, but he said the one thing that threw him a curve was on the simulations, it goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He said here it goes just the opposite, 1, 2, 3, and so the numbers that he uses reference-wise for backing off was totally different here at the racetrack, so he had to relearn that once he got here.
Scott Speed made 2 starts a year ago. Best finish of 23rd.
Now, something we didn't talk about when his teammate Casey Mears went out earlier is there was a huge crew chief and some other key team members swap over at Red Bull Racing this week. Now, Ryan Pemberton and his engineers, his shock specialist, tire specialist, car chief, they have now moved from the 83 car over to Scott Speed in the 82, and in turn, Jimmy Elledge and those key people that were with Scott the first 13 races, they are now over there with Casey Mears, which honestly, Jimmy Elledge and Casey Mears, they have a 3-year history of working together back at Ganassi Racing from 2003 to 2005.
Larry, watching this 82 car, it's almost like a replay of the 83. To me, it looks like the bumps are really giving these cars a fit.
He was 22nd in practice earlier with this 82 car. Right now, his teammate Casey Mears in the 83 is 11th quickest.
After Scott Speed, we have 3 consecutive Chevrolet drivers, Mark Martin, Regan Smith, and Clint Boyer.
You know, the goal with that front splitter in the perfect world is you've got it right against the racetrack, but not hitting the racetrack. And when you've got a racetrack, you can even see the straightaway. Even the straightaway is real bumpy and rough here. And the guys that can figure out how to keep that thing the closest to the ground without that left front, you know, raising up, that's going to be the cars that's going to run fast. And that's a lot to do with the shock package and the front springs and the timing of when the car, you know, sets down on the bump stops or the bump rubbers. It's all a timing thing. And honestly, it's something you really have to work out on the 7-poster back at the shop.
53.89 for Scott Speed, 16th overall. 46 starts for Mark Martin here at Pocono. As Larry said earlier, he's done everything but win. He's been second 6 times.
And Jeff pointed it out in practice. To me, the most phenomenal number about those 46 starts is finishing on the lead lap 38 of those 46 times.
32 top 10 finishes, 19 top 5s, Jeff.
He's the man when it comes to this racetrack, with one exception. He just hadn't been to victory lane. I mean, he's good. He's very good at this racetrack, and this could be his weekend, because you keep believing that sooner or later, as good as Hendrick has been here with Gordon and Jimmy Johnston, that somebody like Mark, who has been exceptionally good throughout his entire career, will take advantage of it as he goes off into turn 1 here.
It looks like what Mark did. Picture a textbook how to get down through turn 1. He eased out early, getting in the corner, picked the throttle up, and really made a lot of gain off the exit and down that straightaway.
Of course, Mark driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick drivers have been to victory lane 11 times here at Pocono.
Didn't get through the tunnel turn quite as good as he would have liked to, and that's a very tricky corner over there. We talked about the curb. It's a fast corner. The car lunges against the wall on the exit of the corner.
Making good time through off of turn 3 back to start-finish line. But like you say, Larry, he just did not nail the tunnel turn.
6 quickest for Mark at a 53.53.
Tony Stewart still with the time to beat, 53.30. Coming up, Regan Smith, Clint Boyer, Travis Quapple.
I'm Casey Kane.
Regan Smith busted off a quick lap earlier today in practice, at the end of practice.
Yeah, he jumped up almost, I think, inside the top 10 now, as a lot of other teams reeled off late practice qualifying runs. It was all said and done. He ended up 26th, and his time was a 54.62.
We'll watch Regan and go to Marty.
All right, hanging out with Greg Biffle, who is 40th in practice. Man, should we be worried about that or what?
Well, not really, because we didn't make a qualifying run. Well, we tried to make a qualifying run, but...
You attempted one.
Attempted one, so maybe we should be worried. But 3 and 4 Fusion, I just drove it down in 1. It was really loose, and it got away from me. Got it back, started easing the gas down. Got away from me again, and I just, you know, my lap was going to be too slow to try and finish that lap. I've let it come in and work on it. And we spent a lot of time in race trim because of, you know, iffy weather for tomorrow. So we feel pretty good about our car. We just don't know how it's going to be qualifying. We tightened it up some. I think we'll be all right.
This cloud cover certainly doesn't hurt, does it? It's a lot cooler down here than when we started qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, finally got a lucky draw. We've been having terrible draws, but hopefully this will be good for us, you know, and hopefully it'll just keep kind of cooling down. We'll get a good run out of this thing.
All right, cool. Jeff Hammond, I have your answer for you, by the way. Greg Biffle has the new Ford engine this weekend. Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, and A.J. Allmendinger. Those are the 4, but everybody will have them next week at Michigan.
Thank you, Marty. That's what I was kind of remembering, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I remember seeing the engine down in Matt's car, but I wasn't too sure about the other guys. And again, I think that's going to pay dividends here in the near future for the Ford camp.
That's about half the Fords in.
Yep,
roughly,
about half
yep.
of them.
Well, in the Chevy camp, Regan Smith, 13th overall of 22 drivers to qualify. 45 here will take time. Tonight, the world's toughest trucks stampede into Texas for a showdown in the Lone Star State. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Texas. Coverage beginning at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Yeehaw, ride 'em, cowboy.
By far, one of the fastest racetracks that the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series goes to. And how about little old Austin Dillon? That 3 truck on the pole.
Grandson of Richard Childress. It's hot down there.
Very hot.
Hot and sweaty.
In the 90s.
Mid-90s.
I think that's temperature and humidity.
It's hot.
Think it'd make somebody sweat, maybe?
Sweaty.
Excuse me, the ladies perspire.
Ray Dunlap sweats.
Jeff Hammond just bit his tongue.
He tried to sit me up, and I ain't going there. They say the trucks don't play nice. Sometimes Larry Mack don't play nice.
Well, I know I talked to Clint Boyer after practice before this qualifying, and he said his car was not playing nice because he came out of the truck when the practice opened and was fast in race practice, and he said, guys, I think we've got a great shot at the pole, and he's looking pretty good about halfway down the Long Pond Straight right now. They went to qualifying trim and actually slowed down, so they were actually making some pretty major changes. I think they were actually putting the car back closer to what they had for race trim, and he's still looking good by about 1/10.5 up the short chute.
Impressive down into turn 1, over 200 miles an hour, but the key was once he got to center 1, he picked that throttle up and maintained off down that next back straightaway. I mean, that's where you're going to make up the most, and he rolled out of it early there, didn't he,
He
buddy?
made sure he did not overdrive turn 3, and he made a big gain off the corner, and he'll go to the top at a 53.21.
He won right now. Awesome. Good job, guys.
That's about a second pickup from practice.
So Clint Boyer bumps Tony Stewart from the pole position. Now Clint Boyer is the man to beat. Can Juan Pablo get him?
Tonight, we're there as racing's roughest and toughest go wheel to wheel in a Wild West shootout in the Lone Star State. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Texas tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
If you live for performance, upgrade to Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic Oil. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1 Castrol Edge. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
It's like a blast of hydration to your face. New Schick Hydro, with water-activated gel that hydrates your skin as you shave and lasts up to twice as long as ordinary strips, while 5 blades with skin guards smooth the skin to reduce irritation. It's the best shave for your skin. The new Schick Hydro. Free your skin.
Right now, Rent-A-Center has big deals for Dad, like a 42-inch Panasonic HD TV.
Or a reclining sofa set.
Your choice, only $27.99 a week.
Sure beats what I got.
Make Dad's day with a Panasonic 42-inch plasma HD TV or a recliner and reclining sofa set, delivery and setup included. Your choice, just $27.99 a week. No credit needed.
At Rent-A-Center, satisfaction is guaranteed.
Leaving it all on the field is not the same as leaving it all on the wall.
The NASCAR experience live. Everything else is just a game.
So Clint Boyer in a Chevrolet is now the man to beat here at qualifying. 23 of 45 drivers have taken time. Travis Kvapil up next in that Long John Silver, number 38. We go to Marty Snyder.
And I think that lap impressed Juan Pablo Montoya. We were hanging out, and he said, wow, that was impressive. Man, I tell you what, last 2 weeks, you guys have had fast cars. Just, you know, probably wish you had the reset button to kind of start those races over, don't you?
It's okay, you know, and for some reason last week we had a really good car in practice and everything, and just race side it was a handful. It's fun, made the fence. It's one of those deals. But, you know, this target car has been pretty good. We were good in practice today, but, you know, with this cloud, sun coming in and out all the time, it's anybody's game.
Never know what you're going to get. Speaking of never knowing what you're going to get, you're doing trackside tonight. Are you sure you know what you're getting into with those guys?
Yeah, I'm always pretty prepared.
You can handle yourself with Larry Mack and Jeff and those guys?
Yeah, we're pretty good normally.
All right, that's a warning, guys. So Juan's going to come with some stuff tonight for you boys, okay?
He normally does,
yeah,
Marty.
You're going to say, Steve, can you handle him? That's the question. He's thrown you a couple times a change-up.
Almost got me in trouble at Indy. Was that last year or the year before?
Almost got you in trouble.
Yeah, almost.
I got called to the principal's office, and they dragged you along with it.
Oh, yeah, just drugged me right across there.
And Jeff.
I was guilty by association.
Hey, you go, we all go.
That's it. We're a team. Travis Kvapil ends up 22nd of the 24 cars. He's right back there with his teammates David Gilliland and Kevin Conway with Bobby Labonte right in the mix.
Well, Big Daddy Jeff Gordon is up next. Then it's Kurt Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Ralph has caught up with Clint Boyer.
And that's a hard thing to do the way he's driving right now. Well, obviously that car was very fast in race trim in practice. It's apparently real quick in qualifying. I guess the question is, how similar are the two setups?
Well, you know, that was just it. We went out and we were really fast. We were like 2.5 tenths faster in race trim than anybody first lap. And then we went out and you know, immediately went to qualifying trim thinking that we were going to be all right, and was way off. I mean, we ended up, you know, qualifying practice half a second off. But, you know, Shane Wilson, all the guys in the Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet went back, did some comparisons, tried to figure out what was different, and I'd say they found it.
I'd say they would too. He should be pretty strong come Sunday.
See dark clouds over the grandstands there behind us.
I do too. Yeah, we're about halfway through this qualifying session. You know, Clint comes in here 13th in the points, only 4 points out of the top 12. But as he mentioned, some freak things has happened to him. You know, they blew an engine 50 laps into the Bristol race, had a brake line problem at Darlington.
4 times Jeff Gordon's been a winner here at Pocono, 2 pole positions. Finished 6th at the Coca-Cola 600 last week.
And had one of his hardest crashes, the most scariest crashes I've ever seen, going off into turn one time when he had brake issues, clipped the corner and bounced her off the outside safer barrier.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. We've been doing interviews at NASCAR Race Hub with drivers that come in, and he is dead on a pole run. Now he slips
Slip back a little bit. He may go a little early, see what he does coming off.
Jeff, we've been asking drivers about fear, if they've experienced fear in a race car. Clint Boyer said the only time he's ever been afraid, he was right behind Jeff Gordon.
He didn't know what in the world had happened.
When Jeff Gordon hit that turn 1 wall here at Pocono.
Well, turn 3 seemed to be the Achilles heel for Jeff Gordon as far as being on the pole, but right now he's 4th quickest. He really got through the tunnel turn, and Jeff Gordon in his quote said this week that when you get through that turn just right, it's one of the best feelings you can have in a race car. And he definitely got through there good. So he by far is the fastest of the Hendrick cars right now.
Got 4 Chevrolets at the top of the list again, guys.
But he has those 2 Stewart-Haas cars of Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, 2nd, 3rd right now. I think this is one that Clint Boyer and a lot of people will be watching. You heard his teammate Brad Keselowski talk about him, Kurt Busch.
And after Kurt Busch, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And he was fast.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't get any easier if deeper you go into this field right now.
You know, Kurt has led 723 laps so far in 2010. That's by far the most of any driver after 13 races.
We've got a brother act. Kurt's on the racetrack, and Marty's with Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle signing some autographs for the fans here, and he's making his way down the line, which is a long process, isn't it, to get down this line? I was talking to Wesley Sherrill, your car chief. He said this is probably the best car you guys have ever had here. You agree?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's a pretty good piece. The M&M's pretzel car has been good since we unloaded here. It seems to be turning pretty well, and we've had a problem trying to get the exit better, and we've been a little bit loose. So hopefully we can, you know, keep it tightened up enough here for qualifying and get a good run in.
Now, yesterday you had a busy day, from what I understand, going to chocolate school. What exactly is entailed in chocolate school?
Well, they just tell you all about the cocoa beans and everything that they do in order to how they farm them, how they get them. You know, they're hand-picked, and it takes 1 cocoa bean in order to do a whole bag of M&Ms. So there's a lot of work that's put behind it, and there was a lot of learning that we did. And you know, it's pretty cool to what the Mars company does and what, you know, it entails to make all the chocolate that we do, and how much help we actually give to the world and the economy and everything. So it's pretty awesome the way that we do a lot of the help with the farming, you know, down in Africa, South America, and so we're about 5 areas of the world that we get our cocoa beans from and stuff. So a lot of money's being spent back at those places to make sure that you know, we get what we need to make chocolate.
When you send a bag up to the booth, you'll notice your brother just got 2nd, so you got to beat him now, right? You got to go out and beat him, Steve.
I don't know about you guys. I just learned a lot about cocoa beans.
I did too. I really did. But I also learned about Kurt Busch's qualifying run. I think he may have went just a little too deep into turn 3 because that tracker went straight to the pole, and you could see him really gain a lot on Clint Boyer, but he just didn't get off the corner very good.
By just, I mean, just that little bit.
26 drivers have clocked in. Clint Boyer is the quickest. Kurt Busch, the driver of the 2 cars, 2nd. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won a pole here back in 2007 and finished 2nd that afternoon, is on the racetrack.
But Larry, right now, looking at the racetrack, that late exit of turn 3 and all the way down the front straightaway is in cloud cover, and this may be the best time to try to lay down a lap. We see Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming up off of turn 3, getting ready to take the green.
He was 4th quickest in practice at a 53.83, so if he can pick up that 3/4 of a second, he'll be in pretty good shape. Solid 199 down into turn 1. Car did not go through the bumps that well.
No, he
did not. Through the middle and off of turn 1.
He's rallying back down the back straightaway, though. If he can get through the tunnel turn now. Picked that throttle up real quick and got all the way wide back open here, coming in at that little short shoot over to turn 3.
Just doesn't overdrive this corner.
He's center on down in there. Can he get off now?
I just don't, boy, I don't know. He got through there pretty darn good.
He is trying.
I believe this is going to do it, May. It's going to be so close. God.
No.
53.224. to a 53.211.
Great lap. Good
Wow.
job, 53.22. Let's talk about it when you get in. What are your tips?
In a 53-second lap.
100th. Woo, Clint Boyer still the man to beat. Dale Earnhardt Jr. gave him a run. Stay with us when we come back. Elliott Sadler, Greg Biffle, and Kyle Busch.
I'm Mark Morgan, and you're watching Speed.
It's coming. The all-new Barrett-Jackson Orange County. Starts June 25th, 5 Eastern, exclusively on Speed.
Free HD on dish in 5, 4. Unbelievable. You flipped the switch too soon. Free HD.
In today's cars, there's self-adjusting cylinders, self-deploying spoilers. Why not a self-cleaning engine? Next generation Pennzoil motor oil cleans out up to 40% of sludge. So turn your engine into a self-cleaning engine and feel the clean.
When it comes to important decisions, we choose wisely, and that's why people in Brentwood choose their hometown dealer, Bill Brandt Ford. With unbeatable quality, more fuel-efficient models than ever, exclusive hands-free sync technologies, and hybrid models that can go 700 miles on a single tank of gas. Brentwood is choosing Bill Brandt Ford, and your hometown dealer is the right choice for terrific savings and great financing on all your favorite Ford models.
My choice is Bill Brandt Ford in Brentwood.
Introducing Xfinity TV, only from Comcast. Upgrade today to Digital Preferred and get 60 additional channels. Plus get more on-demand choices, all for just $9.99 more a month for 12 months. Access the latest TV shows and hit movies on demand, all ready to watch when you are. It's TV reinvented. Step up to Digital Preferred for this special introductory offer of just $9.99 more a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Elliott Sadler on the racetrack in his Stanley Ford Fusion out of the Richard Petty Motorsports stable. Elliott has 22 starts here.
Right now, the fastest Ford is Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. He's 11th, so no Ford in the top 10. Elliott was pretty good in practice. When it was all said and done, he actually ended up 16th quickest. Elliott will be back to our little Friday night party tonight, trackside.
Look forward to that.
Now watching Elliott, it looked like he took it pretty gingerly until he got over about where the tunnel turn was and started picking up speed to try to come take the green. Let's see if that kind of philosophy saved him a little bit here.
While we watch Elliott, let's check in with Marty.
Denny Hamlin watching some laps here. I see he had a third fastest car in practice and a little cloud cover here. A great draw. Was everything lining up perfectly for you?
I don't know. It's so critical. I'll be honest with you. It's so critical, this weather on this racetrack and, you know, what kind of lap you hit. I've seen it here to where you get a shower and everyone goes out and is a second quicker right after that. I've seen it to where if it's cloudy early, you run a fast lap, everyone late gets screwed. So it's the weather really has a lot to do with this qualifying effort. Right now we're okay. If it could just stay like this, we're okay.
So if it's sunny, do you drive it differently than when it's cloudy?
You just got to be much more conservative. You're on the edge a lot more. The room for error is much smaller. Just doesn't have the grip that it does when it's a little bit cooler. So, you know, hopefully we get some good conditions here, and if we don't, either way, you know, we know if we qualify somewhere in the top 10, that'll be a happy day for us.
All right, best of luck, Ralph.
Boy, momentum is really something when you can get it. It's such a powerful thing, and you guys are really on a roll. But you just said you think you know where it was at. Where was the difference maker?
Well, I felt like in turn one, I got in there nice, got to the gas early, just couldn't plant it full throttle, being a little loose. So it's hard. I mean, when qualifying's so close like this and everybody's bunched up, you almost kick yourself a little bit, but hey, we'll take it. We're running good right now. The package that we have is giving me good confidence in the car, and Steve Addington and my guys, we're just rocking and rolling. And if it's cool, we're going to run this Vortex paint scheme now for most of the summer after the success we had at Memorial Day weekend. So a lot of fun to have Miller jump in like this.
And I wouldn't change anything either.
If it ain't broke, Steve, don't fix it.
No. By the way, I want to mention Elliott Sadler, 15th overall, as the Biff, Greg Biffle on the racetrack. And, you know, to Kurt Busch's point, we have 24 drivers in the 53-second category, separated by 7/10.
And that's unbelievable when you think about that close on this big of a racetrack where there's so many elements.
Exactly.
Now, one thing I want to mention about the 16 team while Greg Biffle is making his qualifying run, if you were watching the Coke 600 last week, the rear tire carrier, Kevin McDowell, on this car was actually injured on pit road. He was treated at the hospital and released. Nothing was broken, and Kevin is actually expected to return to his pit crew duties in about 2 to 4 weeks. So, Kevin, if you're listening to us, watching our qualifying show, glad to hear everything's good. Look forward to seeing you back at the racetrack. '22nd for Greg Biffle and his Ford for Roush Fenway, the 3M Ford Fusion. He's going to have to put his work clothes on come Sunday. He's starting pretty deep in the field. Let's go to Ralph.
Well, I'm down here with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Man, what a great run. And you and I were just talking, it doesn't take much to make a big difference in this sport, does it?
Well, not really. I mean, as competitive as it is when you're off, it can just be this, you know, just a little bit in the center or something like that can really make a big difference in your car. But we practiced in race trim at the beginning of the morning, and we felt like we were good off the trailer. We just needed to take a little effort, spring out, and then we went into qualifying trim, and the car was great. But we were running so long time, we really didn't get a chance to go out there and try to get more because I gave up a little bit on my qualifying lap on my mock run. So tried to get everything we could right there. The car was real good, a little bit freer than it was earlier today, but real happy with the lap. The car was awesome.
Can you get giddy excited about this just yet, or you got to wait till Sunday to see how she races?
No, not really. I've been, you know, we want to run good, so hopefully starting good and have a good race car Sunday, we can hold it up there.
All right, pal, good luck Sunday.
That's the most I've seen him smile in several weeks right there.
It is.
Yeah, I got cleaned up his act a little bit. Got a little Fu Manchu working now rather than the full beard.
Kyle Busch, speaking relatively, this hasn't been his favorite racetrack compared to the way he's been tearing up the rest of the tracks.
But he got off turn 1 really, really nice. Looks like the car rolled in the center good, picked that throttle up. See what he can do here through the tunnel turn.
To me, it's still amazing. 194 miles an hour. Front end twitches just a little bit on late exit, but it didn't look like it hurt him any.
And he got through there so good, and that speed carries all the way down that short straightaway. He just doesn't overdrive this corner right here. If he can pick the throttle up, starting to lose a little bit of ground, but I believe it's going to be good enough to knock Mr. Boyer off.
That ain't bad.
Number one,
it ain't bad.
P1, baby, 53.10.
By
Don't talk
10th.
about it. Give me
Not a bad thing making your 200th career start in Sprint Cup Series. Start on the pole, possibly.
Russell just pulled down another sticky note.
He's jinxing them.
July 4th weekend is a celebration of freedom. But this July 3rd at Daytona International Speedway, freedom takes on new meaning. As drivers are free to bump track wherever they choose and free to do whatever it takes to win the summer's biggest race. You're free to join us with tickets starting at just $40 for the Coke Zero 400 powered by Coca-Cola. Call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. And as always, parking is free.
I'm really proud to be a part of it. Love, it's pretty amazing.
Her name is Amanda Brookman, and she is my destiny, although she may not know that, per se.
So you can go online and make any kind of car you want. I made a love car.
Do I think they stand a chance? I mean, who doesn't love love?
I love love.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Who?
Gotta measure twice.
Hey, what's up? It's your TV. I unplugged your cable to show you something that'll blow your mind. DirecTV. With DirecTV, you can watch all your games at once. Watch basketball, hockey, tennis, whatever, all at the same time. 8 screens on your TV. It's like being at a sports bar, but you're not. You're on the couch, at home, in your tighties. Nice. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV. It'll change your life.
I will not add an entire wing to my house.
I will simply fix the leaky faucet in the guest bathroom.
I will not build the Great Wall of China around my patio.
I will not spend my weekends covered in drywall dust.
I will go to Ace.
And I will get it done.
And then I will do Pilates.
Get in, get help, get on with your life. Ace is now home to Craftsman Tools. To celebrate, pick up the top tools from America's #1 tool brand. And we've got more coming. At Ace, the helpful place.
My truck has enough torque to pull 70,000 people out of their seats.
My truck's got a serious mean streak. I don't know where it got that.
My truck's a 750 horsepower ego crusher.
My truck does forget to mind its manners a little bit. I apologize for that.
My truck doesn't mind getting scraped, but it loves getting drenched.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
Casey Kane on the racetrack. Casey, the 31st of 45 drivers to qualify. Let's go to Marty.
Hey guys, just chatted with A.J. Allmendinger, who will be the final car, not a go homer, to go in a qualifying lap today, and he said he feels just absolutely awful. He said, I've had flu-like symptoms all day long. He said, I'm just trying to sit here. He was sitting on the wall and not get sick. So he said, I'm going to do my best to go out there and qualify. Obviously, 5th fastest in practice today. I said, do you have a good qualifying lap in you? He said, I might have one. That's it.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, that's all he's going to need right now, just one. Casey Kane, his teammate in the 9 car, going out to qualify. Casey was 13th quickest in practice earlier.
Casey won here in 2008.
And he's actually our track record holder. He did it in his rookie season in June of 2004. About a second quicker than Kyle Busch right now. His track record is a 52.16.
Interesting note, I made fun of Russell Winrich, our stat guy, but he had an interesting note here. Casey Kane is 21st in points, the worst position of a driver that made the chase in 2009. Of course, except Brian Vickers, who we know because of the blood clots is out for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, of our top 12 right now, 9 in the top 12 were actually in the chase last year. The 3 that are not, Brian Vickers, Casey Kane, and then right back there with Casey in the points, Juan Pablo Montoya. Going to be a good lap for Casey. Ends up 6th quickest with this 9 car, 53.34.
That becomes the fastest Ford so far.
By a lot, actually, yeah.
Casey's followed by Denny Hamlin, Juan Pablo Montoya, David Reagan, and A.J. Allmendinger, and that will conclude the drivers who are locked into this show by virtue of car owner points.
Casey's going to be doing some dirt racing over the next couple of weeks. Of course, on Wednesday night, we talked to Tony Stewart. He's going to be doing the Prelude to the Dream in Eldora. And then 1 week later, the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series race up at Missouri State Fairground Speedway. Casey will be participating in that.
Denny Hamlin in that FedEx Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Won both races here in 2006. Let's go to Marty.
And it's nice to see Jeffrey Bodine hanging out the racetrack today. I got to imagine you're a little nervous, aren't you, Jeffrey?
Oh, yeah. I'm a rookie. Yeah, my first time here. You know, I've led the 2nd most laps here at Pocono, but that's been a while back. And I'm just trying to find my way around this track. I keep hitting the curb over in the tunnel turn. Back when I raced here, they didn't have a curbing. But I'm going to miss it this time. Car's pretty darn good. We just need a little more time out here, but I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, I got my bobsled gold medal winning helmet here. It's going to bring us good luck, so we got a gold medal in the Olympics. Maybe we'll get one here.
All right, he told me the crazy thing is, he said, these young kids are really good, guys.
He was the man here at Pocono, though, back in the 80s, early 90s, that's for sure.
61 years old, Jeff Bodine is. You know, Todd Bodine at Texas Motor Speedway tonight, 5 wins at that track. I said, how have you won so much there? He said, I've been asked that 100 times, and I don't have a good answer.
I would say the biggest thing is he's able to keep that right foot down.
Yes, he is.
They give him a truck that lets him.
Coverage at Texas Motor Speedway here on Speed for the Camping World Truck Series beginning at 8:30.
Well, Denny Hamlin said if he could get a top 10 qualifying run, he'd feel like they'd have a pretty good day. Looks like he's going to be about 5th quickest at a 53.29. We still got a good 13 cars to go, but I'd say that may end up staying in the top 10.
And I know it's not going to make Tony Stewart feel better, but I really believe, guys, that the clouds and the late draw has really affected where he went out as far as qualifying. Currently, he's still 6th, but all these guys that have beat him have all come later in the draw.
We heard from Kyle Busch before his lap. Now let's hear from Kyle afterwards.
Well, he's just down here chatting with his brother, swapping lap stories. Is there one spot on the track, though, where you're still giving up a little bit?
Well, I just gave up a little bit there, exit of 3. I got through 1 really good, I thought really good, and got a good run down the back, got through 2, really good again. And I'm like, man, there's some good grip out here, so I overcharged 3 a little bit, took advantage of it, and got through the entry and center pretty decent, tried to throttle up too much and take too much advantage of the exit of 3 and got a little loose. So overall, though, really good lap. The M&M's pretzel car has been awesome. Dave's done a wonderful job when we got here, and so just been trying to learn the track, learn the car, and make some better changes to it so we can be up here and challenge for a win hopefully Sunday.
All right, Kyle, thanks. Obviously, turn 3 is going to be key come race day, though, because, guys, you got to get off 3 good to get that long drive on this front straightaway.
Ralph Juan Pablo Montoya on the racetrack, one of just 3 drivers to finish in the top 10 here in both events last season.
He was 2nd quickest in practice. He didn't get off turn 1 the greatest. He's bound a little bit back as he heads down toward the tunnel turn.
Backed off early there, Larry, to get in that tunnel turn. Let's see if he can reel her back in across this short chute over to 3.
Juan finished 2nd here the last time we raced in August of last year. Don't think this is going to be a pole run for Juan. Got a little bit free late exit of turn 3. He's going to be solidly in the top 10, though. 7th quickest at a 53.31.
Qualifying continues here at Pocono. Stay with us here on Speed.
Tonight, we're there as racing's roughest and toughest go wheel to wheel in a Wild West shootout in the Lone Star State. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Texas tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
How about we open up a whole can of Getting It Done and get this year's colors up on the wall this year? Let's get better prices and better paint. Let's break out the drop cloths, rollers, brushes, and tape. Let's start small, then go big, no matter what the budget. And when we're done, let's take a bow. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Try Behr Premium Plus Ultra. It's paint and primer all in one and rated #1.
Build your better breakfast at Subway. For only $2.50, get a Western Egg White Muffin Melt made to your order and add a 16-ounce cup of freshly brewed Seattle's best coffee. Try the new $2.50 breakfast combo at Subway.
12 summers of boat hauling, 60.
We'll talk to Kurt Busch and his crew chief, Steve Addington, live. Plus, halfway to the chase, we'll tell you which 12 drivers will battle for the championship. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, live from Pocono Sunday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. So Kyle Busch at a 53.10. That's the quick lap here at Pocono. David Reagan in the UPS Ford Fusion has one top 5 finish here in 6 starts.
Really searching for speed in practice earlier. 39th quickest with this number 6 UPS Ford.
But Larry, don't you find it a little bit strange that Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle and all these guys seem like, especially the Roush Fenway camp, they didn't put a lot of effort into qualifying. They really been focusing on getting a good race set up. It's almost like they're saying, well, we made a kind of like a halfway attempt at, you know, to get some kind of feel for what the cars are going to do, but it's almost like they were willing to throw qualifying away.
In the numbers here at Pocono, for whatever they're worth, they do not say that that's good. That when you start up front, even with it being 200 laps and 500 miles, that's where most of the race winners come from.
We talked about that in practice, and I think to your point, Larry, it speaks directly to performance. You know, some tracks we go to and you qualify up front, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run up front. But here, I think it's a good indicator. 40 of 64 races won from a top 5 position.
Well, the lowest starting position of any Pocono winners was 29th, and that was Carl Edwards, a Roush Fenway driver, back in June of 2005. So can it be done?
Sure.
Yes. But is it easy to do? No.
And the thing about it, you don't drive to the front anymore. The way you get up there is through strategy and a lot of things that happens right on pit road.
David Reagan just 30th in the UPS Ford.
And I guess we could have a little bit of a celebration, guys, as far as this weekend's concerned, because this will be the beginning of the official double file restart from a year ago, right?
1 year anniversary.
Yeah, 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, the only thing now that's different as far as race procedure for the most part would be the fact that the 3 attempts at the green, white, checkered, and trust me, that's going to play a huge role in late race strategy.
Fuel mileage.
That's a lot of laps if 3 attempts at a green, white, checkered, a lot of miles around this place.
You got that right.
And our friends from TNT will take over the privilege of calling these races. So best of luck to them. And Larry Mack, you're a part of that outfit.
Play a little different role, but pretty excited because honestly, as we spoke earlier, as we watch A.J. Allmendinger start his qualifying run in this 43 car, we're halfway through the race to the chase, as I mentioned, but these next 6 races that we'll be doing on TNT, coast to coast, border to border, in every type of racetrack that we go to, road course racing, restrictor plate racing, flat track racing, plus the unique racetrack here at Pocono. So the picture will start to get a little clearer during these 6 TNT races.
A.J. Allmendinger 5th overall in practice.
Now he's attacked 1 as well as the tunnel turn, both about the same. He's gotten off of it early to try to maximize getting back to the throttle more aggressively, but it hurt him a little bit on the exit off of 1, and it looks like he's done the same thing here off the tunnel turn.
Sat on the pole at Phoenix earlier this season.
I don't think with being 5th quickest in practice that he's going to be very happy with this qualifying run. Doesn't look like it's going to crack the top 15.
17th, 53.61 for A.J. Allmendinger. Well, Allmendinger, the final driver who is locked into the show, knockout qualifying up next here at Pocono, and it's only on speed.
Hi there. Welcome.
Save it, Glengarry. Now, this Mini has a 5-star safety rating and 6 airbags. Only got 4 people. Let's lose 2 airbags, 1 star, and take $2 grand off the price. You man enough for that deal?
Sir, we can't remove it.
Figured. What about this 3-year, 36,000-mile no-cost maintenance? Ditch that. Girls memorize the owner's manual. They do the upkeep. You drop $1 grand. Who's got a pen?
Dad.
Fine. At 37 MPG, we'll take one that only gets 27. I pay 19.5. Let's take this horse to market.
Deal. And I'll throw in 37 MPG.
Lease a new Mini Cooper Hardtopper Clubman for $249 a month during the Motoring Madness event ending June 30th.
We're in the mood for baby back ribs for dinner tonight.
Go-home drivers positioned themselves in the first practice here at Pocono.
Yeah, I think I was really impressed with Max Pappas pulling that lap out like he did late in practice. And Steady Eddie at number 66, Dave Blaney, he's always been able to be able to lay down a pretty impressive lap when it counts.
And a lot of experience for Dave Blaney, 20 Pocono starts.
And with 45 cars being here, that means 2 cars will not make this show.
Hey, Larry, you've got to believe if, you know, when you see guys' names like Bodine and Musgrave there, you wonder, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? You know, Ted Musgrave substituting for Robbie Gordon, who's down in Mexico. And, you know, Jeffrey Bodine, well, he's just, as he always likes to say, just trying to have some fun.
And Tommy Baldwin Racing giving him a little chance to have some fun.
That's it.
That 36 car.
Well, Jeffrey's got such a good track record when it comes to Pocono, so it's like, you know, why not stick a veteran like him down in the car?
I believe I read Steve Park's going to drive Tommy's car at Daytona.
You're right. And how about Greg Sachs going to drive for Junior Motorsports in the Nationwide Series?
What a great story that was. Greg Sachs driving an R&D car for Dygaard at Daytona, 4th of July. Didn't even know he was in the lead. Yes, Mr. Hammond.
But he figured it out. I'm just wondering, all of a sudden we got Musgrave coming back from retirement. We got Bodine coming back from retirement. Greg Sachs coming back. You don't guess...
I know who you're thinking, but there's a lady named Stevie that's not going to have no part of that.
No, I think I'll go one step further than that. There's a gentleman named Hill that won't allow that to happen.
Him too.
Miss Waltrip and Mr. Hill are in cahoots on that whole program.
Well, you might be able to sway one, but I don't think you're going to convince the other.
Collusion.
That's it.
53.97 for Dave. Now, I think as we were into these go-or-go-homers, we didn't have a single car in the top 35 that even remotely attempted a second lap. They pretty much shut it down before they even got to turn 1. The go-or-go-homers, unless you really bust off a good lap, or if we get late in the session and you know you're locked in, you pretty much have to go ahead and run that second lap. I think it will be to no avail because running another 2.5 miles, the engine's getting warmer, tires are losing more and more grip. It's just hard to run faster on lap 2.
And to be honest with you, Larry, that 53.97 that he just laid down compared to where he was in practice, that's a pretty good pickup, almost 0.6 of a second.
But I think with him being the first guy out of the go-or-go-home,
you got to try. You got to find out whether it's worth it or not. And he may influence some of the other cars that are having to make this attempt. Because I think I can never remember a car picking up on the second lap in recent years.
Well, once we have 2 cars of this group that's put their qualifying efforts in, if you just beat 2 cars, you know you're locked in then.
Yep.
Dave Blaney, followed by David Stremme, Jeff Bodine, and Robbie Gordon. Of course, Jeff just said Ted Musgrave in the 7 car while Gordon races in Mexico.
David was 6th quickest of the go-or-go-homers. This little 2016 did not qualify for the show in the Coke 600 last week. You know what, David's qualifying. I want to make a note of something that the people here at Pocono are doing, the Mattiolis. You know, we're talking about everybody and everything working on going green. And scheduled for completion in late July, it's their new 3.0 megawatt solar farm. And when completed, Pocono Raceway will become the largest green sports facility in the world. And not only will it supply power for the racetrack, but also for some local homes nearby. So a great thing. I saw it yesterday outside the short chute. That's a great thing that the Mattiolis and the people here are doing at Pocono Raceway.
And also, Larry, we meant to mention this during practice earlier, and we want to express our condolences to the family of Richard Jackson. He was a longtime car owner in the Sprint Cup Series. He and his brother Leo out of Asheville, North Carolina. He passed away at age 74 earlier this week, and our thoughts and condolences to the Jackson family.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
And Richard was 74.
Be very much missed, but he was very instrumental in giving a lot of people an opportunity, like Bob Presley, Harry Gant. I mean, just so many different people that drove and was associated with their organization.
So David Stremme, 35th, slower than Dave Blaney.
54.45. I'd be a little nervous about that one.
Jr. signing some autographs. We'll be right back.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to Infineon Raceway in Sonoma. The Toyota Save Mart 350. Father's Day weekend, June 18th through 20th. The Toyota Save Mart 350. Part of the Big O Tires racing season. Tickets at InfineonRaceway.com. Think outside the O.
What do you look for in a great mower? Start by looking for a Kawasaki engine. Kawasaki engines are known for having backbone, muscle, lasting power. So look for the Kawasaki name. You know what lawn care pros say. Inside every great mower is a great Kawasaki engine. Kawasaki engines are the critical component. Look for genuine Kawasaki engines and select mowers at the Home Depot and your local lawn and garden dealer.
That'll be fun. That's next. Juan Pablo Montoya and Tony Stewart will join us. And from the Texas Motor Speedway at 8:30 Eastern, it's the Camping World Truck Series setup with Chris Devoda. And at 9 Eastern, you'll see him race.
Now, speaking of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race down in Texas, of course, Johnny Sauter is there, who's been driving this 36 car. Johnny will be back in the car next week at Michigan because the trucks are racing up there on Saturday before the Cup race.
Well, Jeff Bodine has 18 career wins. Let's see what the 61-year-old out of Chemung, New York has left in his bag of tricks.
Jeff, the car looked, best way I can put it, nervous.
I can say exactly the same thing. Looked very nervous through 3.
39 Pocono starts for Bodine.
Right now, he needs to beat a 53.97, which is Dave Blaney, and that would put him into the show.
He didn't hit the curb that time, Larry, which is a good thing.
And right now, he's pretty much laying right there about where David Stremme qualified. David's 35th right now in that 26 car.
Well, Jeffrey was 41st in the earlier practice at a 55.13, so needs to find a little bit of speed here.
Well, he beats David Stremme by 4/100ths of a second, and honestly, I know we got to go a little bit into this session. That could be huge right there.
Be very huge.
Talked about it earlier, Jeff Bodine with 3 wins here at Pocono with 3 different owners, Rick Hendrick, Junior Johnson, and driving for himself.
And I think he's kind of like done like so many cars have done during this qualifying session and shut her down on that second lap. So he'll be one and done, hoping that that time of 54.41 will be good enough to get him in the show.
Well, I know what it was good enough. It was good enough to get Dave Blaney locked in for Sunday.
For 5 years, Tony Stewart has invited championship caliber drivers and friends to his famed Eldora Speedway for an all-star charity dirt late model race. This year's Speed will give you an exclusive countdown pre-race special, which will look at preparations for the Prelude, practice session coverage, and much, much more. Catch Prelude to the Dream Countdown Show Wednesday, June 9th at 6 Eastern, only on Speed. The race follows in can only be seen on pay-per-view.
And what I love, they've kind of changed the format. There's still going to be an overall individual winner. But what they've done, they've taken and divided the drivers up into 4 teams, and each team represents a certain children's hospital. And the winning team, 45% of the net money goes to their hospital, second place 25%, third and fourth place 15%, so everybody really comes out a winner.
Just found out today that Tony Kanaan will be there.
Hadn't you say Dario Franchitti, the Indy 500 winner, has declined?
Well, it wasn't. He didn't decline because he didn't want to. He has to test.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He would not be able to attend, but Tony Kanaan will, so I think that's great.
Ted Musgrave in that 7 car, 20 Pocono starts for the veteran driver from Wisconsin. His best finish here, second in 1995.
Steve, right now, if he can get across this tunnel turn, he's got a pretty good little lap going.
305 Cup starts for Musgrave.
Needs to beat that 54-41 that Jeffrey Bodine laid down. Right now, Jeffrey's 35th in that 36 car.
Whoa, big slide right there. Big slide right there on the late exit of 3.
And the problem with where it happened, it hurts this lap, and it actually hurts the second lap, if he indeed would even going to run a second lap.
54-72 for Ted. Excuse me.
He shut it down, and he's had enough, and Jeffrey Bodine will start this race on Sunday.
So can anyone knock that guy from the pole position? Kyle Busch, we'll find out.
Tonight, we're there as racing's roughest and toughest go wheel to wheel in a Wild West shootout in the Lone Star State. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Texas tonight at 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
£600 of salmon breath. You in? 5th generation 4Runner. Sucker punched by a big fish. You in? 5th generation 4Runner.
You know what 2:30 in the afternoon feels like, right? Sleepy? Groggy? Dying for a nap? What do? Run for the coffee? Grab a soda? But how long does that last before you're back for more? Try this instead. Take 1 5-hour energy, then see what the rest of your day feels like. Sure won't feel like 2:30 anymore. Or 3:30. Or 4:30. 5-hour energy. Hours of energy now, no 2:30 feeling later.
So rich and
Hola, amigo. It's me, your TV. Just pulled the plug on your cable to show you something sweet. With DirecTV, get a DVR that stores twice as many shows as cable. So load it up. Sports, soaps, absolutely. Reality show marathon, not my thing, but cool. Lots of movies, why not? You got the room. Stop limiting yourself. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV, it'll change your life.
Colin Brown's on the pole.
Colin Brown drives the number 16. 2 poles and only 7 starts. Has a surprisingly low water bill.
Is that his mail?
The NASCAR Nationwide Series. Get into it.
On this day, before my daughter's wedding, I'd like to propose a toast to Steve Wallace, a rising star who has 16 top 10 finishes in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Sit down, Dad.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series. Get into it.
Back at the Pocono Raceway, NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying continues. The 09 car driven this week by Terry Cook.
Yeah, Mike Bliss has been running this car, but Mike is actually at Nashville for the Nationwide Series. Terry tentatively be in the car next week. Pretty interesting going to Infineon with this 09 car in a couple of weeks. Jan Mangensen from Formula One, who did some Formula One racing, has actually been doing a lot of road course testing for Hendrick Motorsports of late, will be in the car out at Infineon in 2 weeks.
In the 09 car.
Yes.
Yeah. Terry with 314 truck starts.
as you watch this 09, here's what you're looking for, folks. Is where that green line is. That's what he needs to be in front of if he wants to lock himself into the field.
And that represent David Stremme right now. David's time of 54.45. Right now, Terry is not looking that good on this first lap. Car just all over the place.
Oh.
Again, killed lap 1 if he's going to run lap 2, and I think he's got to run lap 2. He's
got to try.
Killed lap 2.
He's got to try. And all of a sudden, it looks like turn 3 has just lost all grip. Ted Musgrave, as well as Terry Cook, car's really sliding around. He can't hold it nowhere right now. It's all over the racetrack.
He overdrove that corner, drove it way too deep. I mean, when you see the tracker go way that way, that's normally a sign that you overdrove the corner.
How about Jeff Bodine being locked into the field?
Locked in.
That is very cool. 61 years old when he takes the green flag. 41 years older than Joey Logano. How much old is he? How much more older is Hammond than Jeff Bodine? Got to do the math.
Easy now. You're not talking about Dick Berggren over here.
Actually slows down quite a bit, but that will lock David Stremme.
Let's take another look at Terry Cook's wild ride here, coming off 3.
Car gets in and just never takes a good set, and he's trying to get back in the throttle, and it just all over the racetrack.
No rear grip whatsoever. And Jeff, you know, I think this gives you a much clearer picture of how loose that car was. But I truly believe, we talked about this earlier in the practice show, that guys tend to get pretty aggressive here with the rear springs and the rear shocks qualifying to try to help the drag of the race car. In other words, help the speed down the straightaway. And when you do that, a lot of times you hurt the rear downforce, and the rear doesn't have good grip.
It's a delicate
That could
balance.
be what's happening with these go-or-go-homers, but they get aggressive trying to help straightaway speed.
Yep.
Let's go back to Marty.
Well, at 61 years young, Jeffrey Bodine hauled it off in there in turn 1, and you gained an entire second from practice. Congratulations, great job.
Yeah, thanks. It felt like the Bodine bobsled down there in turn 1, kind of slipping and sliding all around, but you know, we're really happy to be here. Tommy Baldwin gave me this chance. Johnny Sauter did a great job last week at Charlotte. He's in Texas. Good luck to you, Johnny, tonight. Of course, my brother Todd too. And but we're here, so we're happy about that. And I hope there's more times that I'm here at the track with Tommy and the guys.
I know you were saying these young guys were good, but was it as much fun for you as you thought it would be?
Yeah, look, I'm not shaking at all.
A little bit.
Well, that's just, I'm out of breath. Nah, you know, I've done this so long, I didn't get nervous. Concerned, of course, but, you know, I drove it in deep. I needed to pick up. We did. We drove it in every corner a little deeper. I learned a long time ago, and DW and all the drivers can relate to what I'm going to say. If you scare yourself in practice, you don't have a chance in qualifying. So I didn't scare myself in practice by going too deep and getting sideways. I did it out in qualifying, but that's okay.
That's a good theory to follow, isn't it, Larry Mack and Jeff? Don't scare your driver in practice, guys.
Nope. Scare him in practice. You can write him off in qualifying.
Exactly.
Now, J.J. Yaley, I would hope they'll be on the radio calling him in because, once again, he has qualified on time. He will race on Sunday.
Dave Blaney, J.J. Yaley, Jeff Bodine, and David Stremme all locked in.
You're 54-22 officially.
I was going to say, don't give him the time. Just tell him to stop.
That's all you need to tell him then.
Final drivers to qualify: Joe Nemechek, Max Pappas, Chad McCumbee, and Michael McDowell. Stay with us.
I'm Casey Kane, and you're watching Speed.
Presented by the new Gillette Fusion ProGlide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers.
"12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1. The choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
It's like a blast of hydration.
The new Schick Hydro. Water-activated gel hydrates your skin as you shave, and Skin Guards reduce irritation. It's the best shave for your skin. Schick Hydro. Free your skin.
Next! Come on, I haven't got all day here. It doesn't come with peppers. You know, you told me you wanted mustard. You, back of the line.
Excuse me.
What?
Great sandwich. Thanks.
Compliments. Pass them on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Introducing Xfinity TV, only from Comcast. Upgrade today to Digital Preferred and get 60 additional channels. Plus get more on-demand choices, all for just $9.99 more a month for 12 months. Access the latest TV shows and hit movies on demand, all ready to watch when you are. It's TV reinvented. Step up to Digital Preferred for this special introductory offer of just $9.99 more a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Payday, done. Just be 18 or older and have a regular income of at least $800 a month. No credit score required. Need cash tomorrow? Go to moneymutual.com today.
Speed into Father's Day at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Visit the speed stage all weekend and sign up to win the ultimate Father's Day race package. You can win the chance to watch the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race from the pits and much, much more. Just go to speed.com, keyword promo. Front row Joe Nemechek in that 87 car. 30 Pocono starts, including a pole back in 1997.
And Joe was plenty fast enough in practice.
Yes,
he was fourth quickest of those go-or-go-home cars.
The question I got for you, Larry, a minute ago, you were talking about my age versus Jeffrey Bodine's age. What state are you from?
What state am I from?
Yeah. Where were you born?
Alabama.
That explains it.
What's his point? It's getting ugly up here.
What's his point?
People from Alabama know how to act.
Well, he's saying he's younger than
okay, okay.
You're a little dyslexic, maybe?
It's like my golf game. I just figured out the low score is better.
You want to get your money's worth, right?
Yeah.
Just keep hitting the ball.
Left, right, left, right.
Right now, something about somebody getting their money's worth. Right now, Joe Nemechek, if he can keep it coming, he will make this race for Sunday.
Yeah, he's actually working on being the fastest of the go-or-go-home cars. Didn't get through the tunnel turn that good.
Can't afford to do that off of 3. He'll give up way too much. So nice and easy here, Joe.
Had a good, solid qualifying run last week at Charlotte. Qualified 19th.
Good turn 3.
I believe he will be the fastest of the go-or-go-homers. Locked in, 29th quickest.
53.87. Final 3 drivers to qualify: Max Pappas, Chad McCumbee, and Michael McDowell.
We talk about it every week, Steve, but right now it's when everybody is just having nightmares, wanting to throw up, can't breathe. Whether you're Terry Cook or Ted Musgrave, you're sitting there on that hot seat waiting, or whether you're Max Pappas and the rest of the guys that, as far as that have got to go and know they got to go, Chad McCumbee and Michael McDowell.
Well, and the worst thing about it is it's you're helpless. It's out of your hands at this point.
Well, for Musgrave and him, yes. But for McCumbee and him, it's like don't beat yourself type scenario. It's like here with Max Pappas, how hard do you need to go in the corner to make it, where you can, get a good enough lap down.
And that's my big fear of Max Pappas. Talking to my NASCAR Performance Crew Chief buddy, Booty Barker, what Max really gets guilty of is overdriving the entrance of the corner, especially at a place that's so hit your mark and line sensitive like this racetrack at Pocono.
But you would think with his road racing experience, it'd be easy for him to discipline himself enough to say, okay, this is what I did when I ran the earlier lap, which a 54.45 would automatically lock him into this field. He could repeat that. No, he doesn't need any more. All he needs is to repeat what he did earlier.
And that's a great point. You don't try to go get me anymore. Don't give me 110%. Just give me that 100.
That's right.
This team has actually not qualified for 3 out of the last 4 races.
Made 8 of the first 9 this year.
Really picked up the throttle nice off turn 1.
He nailed turn 1 right there, Larry. He really did. That was a great lap right there through turn 1 for him. Now, you're way ahead on the list right now, buddy. Just ease it through the tunnel turn. Ease it through the tunnel turn.
Don't hit the curb.
He did. He didn't overdrive the tunnel turn.
That was a sweet-looking corner there.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Don't overdrive turn 3. Let that thing roll through there. Don't pick the throttle up till the car tells you, okay,
Exactly.
go.
Be smooth. Be smooth. There you go. Just feed it to it gently. Feed it to it gently.
Little on the free side
That's
there,
all
but
right.
he's going to be in great shape. He will race on Sunday.
I'll say 20th.
Great lap, man. Good job. Great lap. You're
20th overall for Max Pappas.
And we are good.
And this is his first attempt at this place. And now his first start.
That's great. Final 2 drivers yet to come, Chad McCumbee and Michael McDowell. Stay with us.
I'm Denny Hamlin. And you're watching Speed.
It all comes down to this. Don't miss the
Presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying from Pocono is presented by Subway Restaurants. So many $5 footlong subs to choose from. Enjoy amazing value at Subway all day, every day. And brought to you in part by Dish Network. Why would you ever pay more for TV? So final 2 drivers to have at it today, Chad McCumbee in the 64 and Michael McDowell in the 55, and Kyle Busch likely to hang on for the pole position.
Now, Chad was the slowest of the go-home cars earlier today. He has a couple of Cup starts here driving for Petty Enterprises and has 1 win in the ARCA Series here. Got through turn 1 decent. I was a little afraid he wasn't going to get off the corner good, but it seemed to be good enough that he didn't lose a lot of ground late exit.
Now, he's definitely not guilty of overcharging the corners. He's making the most up on a late exit.
And you know, these final 2 cars, Chad McCumbee and Michael McDowell, of course, Michael McDowell was one of the quicker go-home cars. You've absolutely got optimum conditions. It's not going to get any better than what you've got right now with the cloud covering and all. And it looks like to me that Mr. McCumbee is going to race on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
And Ted Musgrave for Robbie Gordon, who's in Mexico right now, will not race. So Robbie will not be in the show on Sunday.
Wow, that is just bad news for Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, because once you miss a race, it just, you start digging that hole that you just can't get out of. Now, one thing we do need to explain to fans, because I actually get this email question a lot. How come sometimes we see driver points and owner points different, especially for the go-or-go-homers? If you do not qualify as a driver, you get 0 points. But the owner gets owner points for at least showing up and attempting to qualify.
Guys, you take a look at the mirror on the rear mirror on this car. Look at it just flopping around inside there. I just now noticed it coming down through there. It must have come loose during qualifying.
He reached up there. He was tired of looking at it.
He's annoyed.
Fortunately, you don't need a rearview mirror when you're out there qualifying.
Looks like Larry's rental car.
But it can be quite a distraction.
But good for Mr. Chad McCumbee. He will race on Sunday.
So who will it be? Terry Cook or Michael McDowell? Now, Michael has shown he's had enough speed in his car to make this race.
He ran for Michael Waltrip Racing both races in 2008. His best start was 35th, and his best finish was 24th out of those 2 races.
Best start this year, 12th at Phoenix. Phoenix is a flat track. Any characteristics that carry over, even though this track is much bigger?
You know, I'll tell you what, if you can negotiate that place and have a feel for it, I think you should be able to do well here, because there's certain things that are similar to turn 1, as well as when you get to turn 3 and 4 at Phoenix, similar to the tunnel turn and going back into turn 3. So, I mean, it's a contrary racetrack.
And you know, even though this surface is much rougher, but a lot of the drivers, especially with the way the testing policy is now, said that if you come out of here good with a feeling that you perform well, that you do feel like you go to Indianapolis in about a month and a half with some confidence.
It looked like Michael Dow has nailed this lap, put himself in the field at 32nd position.
Yeah, that bumps Terry Cook out in the 09. So Terry Cook and Ted Musgrave will not race. And Kyle Busch celebrates his 200th career start with his 7th career pole. First pole at Pocono. And Ralph Shaheen is with Kyle Busch.
Well, here are the stats in case you don't know them already. It's your 7th career pole, but your first year at Pocono, and you get to start career race number 200 on the pole. How you feel about that?
Well, I feel pretty good about it. You know, the M&M's pretzel car was good when we unloaded. Dave and myself, we worked really hard with the guys on trying to get some good race call or some good calls to try to make the car better. And we got in a qualifying trim and we made a change that was really, really good for us. So real proud of the guys and the way we came together there, and got a great qualifying effort. So to start on the pole for race 200 is going to mean a lot, and of course it'll mean even more if we can try to win this one.
Well, these Busch brothers sure got a lot of momentum going from the 2 and the 18, don't they?
Ralph, they've won the last 6 NASCAR races.
Nobody but the Busch brothers.
Can't beat the Bushes.
And they're not letting up right now at all.
We'll step aside for just a few minutes. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting grid for Sunday's race here at Pocono. Stay with us here on Speed.
Tonight, don't miss Juan Pablo Montoya on NASCAR Trackside. Then the world's toughest truck stampede into Texas to trade some pain in the Lone Star State. Live Speed coverage continues tonight at 6:30 Eastern with NASCAR Trackside.
Only on Speed.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
No, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
If you live for performance,
Upgrade to Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic Oil. With 8 times better wear protection than Mobil 1, Castrol Edge, it's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
Queen is Becca Weiniger.
True beauty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Long distance, your own phone number, voicemail, and directory assistance. Make us your new phone company or add a second line with Magic Jack for just $19.95 a year. Get Magic Jack at Walgreens.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Take a look at the schedule here. A lot of NASCAR in different parts of the country. The Camping World Truck Series tonight on Speed. NASCAR Nationwide Series over at Nashville, Tennessee on ESPN2. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot here in Pocono at 10 on Sunday. And then, of course, you'll see the Sprint Cup Series race. Man Caves with Tony Siragusa on the DIY Network. Just kidding about that.
And don't forget, here at 6:30, Trackside.
Trackside right after this fine show.
In fact, our two guests for Trackside, they're going to be starting right up there in the top 10. Tony Stewart, he's going to start 6th. Juan Pablo Montoya starts 7th.
We take a look at our Subway starting grid.
You know, it may not be what Kevin Harvick or any of those guys want to hear, but you know that stat you talked about, the winner coming from the top 10? I have a pretty good feeling about that top 10 right there.
Well, it's just good to see that 88 car up there close to the front. Great effort right now by Dale Earnhardt Jr.
A little deeper back. How about Brett Keselowski? Never been to this place.
Actually, I'm so surprised. I thought he had at least some ARCA experience, with his
family
Dad Bob and everything like that racing up here. But good effort right now by him. And remember, he jumped in the airplane and took off to Nashville right after qualifying.
Max Pappas qualified on time. We watched him just a little bit ago. Jimmy Johnson, 25th in that 48
Look back here at the back. Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex Jr., Greg Biffle. I mean, David Rudiman finished in the finished 5th the last 2 races. They've got a lot of heat that's going to be coming in the back of the pack, it looks like.
61-year-old Jeffrey Bodine back there on row 20 in Tommy Baldwin's 36 car.
You know what it tells me? All those guys that qualified in the back, you just put a whole lot more on the shoulder of those crew chiefs. They got to pull a rabbit out of their hat to get some track position.
David Stremme has the final starting position. 2 drivers did not make the show, Terry Cook and Ted Musgrave.
That'll be the first time in a long time that 7 car, Robbie's Gordon's, has not been on the show.
Trackside next here on Speed with Juan Pablo Montoya and Tony Stewart.
You know what, guys? We better hurry up.
We better hustle.
We're going to have to
hustle. We don't want that party to start without us.
Where's Karen Facing? Where's our ride?
I don't think that party can start without us, can it?
I don't think so, unless Elliott Sadler got there and we don't know about it.
Well, he can at least start it without being there. Yeah. Take it over there, Elliott.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day tackles the tricky triangle in Pocono, and we're there. As Kurt Busch and crew chief Steve Addington join us live. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live from Pocono Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
First is the beginning. First kicks open the door and possibilities follow. First resets everything. First moves us forward, fast. We all want first. First isn't later, it's now. What will you do first with Evo, the first 4G phone? Only from Sprint.